Hey everybody, didn't expect this many in here actually, because it was kind of one of those last minute deals again with me. Uh, I really wasn't planning on doing one tonight, doing a stream tonight. Honestly, I wasn't. Um, hey, Blissful, but I thought, well, what the hey? I got something in today. I can talk about that on the Daily Grindhouse. And then I'll do a little show, another Ask Me Anything show. Hopefully, people still got some questions to ask me. Um, Plus, if you want to join me live on the stream, I do have the link in the chat for anybody that wants to come on and you can answer questions or you can ask me questions if you come on here, kind of like a interview type thing. And yes, I am drinking a little more Fireball whiskey tonight because I'm still dealing with voice problems and stuff like that. Those of you that were in here last night when TJ and I were talking about for over 4 hours, talking about the Friday the 13th, the series episodes. We covered 10 episodes last night, which 10 episodes, 45 minutes apiece. It takes a while to cover those. Um, and I don't know if Dirk or Darren, hey, Unseen, um, I don't know if Dirk and Darren are in here or gonna be in here later. However, it was very weird that the first time I showed the promo for An Hour to Kill, um, it didn't. I didn't get a copyright strike, not anything like that. But the content, or not the movie clips, but the melody, and I guess I was just assuming the music used, hey, X-Ray, was royalty free or whatever you want to call it, type of music. I didn't, ask Dirk about it. Um, I just assumed, it wasn't, there was no lyrics or anything with it. I was just thinking, oh, well, he pulled this music from somewhere royalty free. And I'm not mad at Dirk at all or Darren or anybody. But I got a content claim. And I was like, what in the heck? What content claim could they have on music from the show last night? And I did it on the stream before that, the night before that, and I mean they might catch it later. So because of that, I'm going to refrain, unfortunately, from showing the promo on this stream. And for those of you that got to see it the two nights that I did show it, the audio has been muted on the one video now, just during the part where the music is playing. Um, yeah, it said something about 12 time travelers, uh, and it was by Hawk. It was claimed by Hawk Publishing. I have no idea what what all that was about. But anyway, YouTube's a strange animal sometimes. Dirk did an awesome job, and I would have loved to show the promo again tonight. However, I don't want to press my luck because they'll probably catch the other video that I showed it on. I kind of thought I was in the clear, but I guess truly you're never in the clear when it comes to YouTube. Hey, Uncle Bill. Uncle Bill's wanting to know who's ready to get their ass whipped. Not really. I don't want to get my ass whipped. Thank you, Uncle Bill. Um, but for those of you that got to see it, the two nights I did show it in its entirety with the music and everything, then count yourself lucky, because Dirk did an awesome job. Now the video portion of it is still there. Just I just muted the audio for that part. Oh, and Dirk probably heard me talking about it. Dirk, not mad at you at all, buddy, if you heard me talking about that. I didn't get a copyright strike, just a content claim. Um, so uh, I don't I don't get it why they I guess why ask why. I don't know why they caught it on one video and not the other. I honestly, after I showed it one time and didn't get any little emails from YouTube, I thought, okay, it must be cool. Um, but anyway, like I said, I'm not upset over it at all. It wasn't a copyright strike anyway. Just usually when people make copyright claims or content claims, uh, no, actually, Dirk, it was the melody. They said the melody, it didn't have anything to do with the Evil Dies Tonight. It was the music that was playing, was claimed by, the melody was claimed by Hawk Publishing. I have no idea. But anyway, instead of disputing it, I just muted the audio on there because I figured I can't win anyway. Um, but anyway, this is going to be, like I said, another Ask Me Anything show, or stream. And if anybody wants to come on live with me, the link is in the chat. I'll be happy to put it back in the chat. If it gets lost in the chat messages. Yeah, TJ, exactly. You say luck of the draw. It's all random when videos are claimed. Yeah, it's a weird. Like I said, YouTube's a weird animal. Yeah, I don't get it, Dirk. Like I was saying earlier, I assumed that you were using some kind of music that was supposedly royalty free anyway. So I don't know if they mistakenly claimed it, and if I had disputed it, it would have been okay. But sometimes you win, sometimes you don't in those games. So yeah, it is weird. But with all due respect to Dirk, it was an awesome promo, and I loved it. And of all the things that I thought would get it a copyright claim, the melody playing in the background was not what I thought that they would claim. But anyway, with all that being said, I am going to be on Dirk and Darren's show, An Hour to Kill, this Saturday. And we're going to be talking about some unpopular movies, or like the majority of people that are unpopular movies. But to us three, they're the bee's knees or whatever. Um, oh well, you're welcome, Dirk. And I come this close to leaving the music in and let the chips fall where they may. But then I don't know, I got paranoid, I guess, and then went back in there and just muted that part. Oh, actually, I got to put this one up on the screen. I'll take this question before I do the daily grindhouse. You say, "All right, here's the first Q&A question for me. Does Steve like to strut around nude?" In all honesty, and Steve might kill me for saying this, I mean, he's not really strutting, but I have seen him walk around the house nude. So, I ain't gonna lie. But he has walked around the house naked. when it's just me and him and the dogs here. He's not gonna take off all his clothes and walk around when we got company, but um, we don't have company that often. So, oh, hold on, X-ray. These questions are making me laugh. Uh, Yeah, TJ, that's a good idea. Try another music clip. However, I thought about finding some music that, what's it called, YouTube offered up, but I didn't want to monkey around with Dirk's masterpiece, in my opinion. I thought if he wants to do it or leave it alone, I'll just leave that up to him. Thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, please hit the thumbs up. Thank you. And X-ray, you want to know, is Steve hairy or one of them hairless white men? Well, he's got a fair amount of hair. I guess he's got a normal amount of hair, on his chest and stuff like that. He's definitely not hairless, except on his head. But anyway, um, but he's also not one of those guys that's got a rug on his back or something like that. My granddaddy, if you saw him without a shirt off, especially when he got older, he had a lot of hair. And then when he was younger, my mom said it was thicker. It was just like he was, had a rug or a coat or something on him. And you guys and gals have all seen guys like that. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, um, I'm kind of glad that Steve's not like that. I feel like I was, hugging a bear or something if he had that much hair. So to me, Steve has the right amount of hair. Dirk, you said we don't need no problems from the mighty YouTube, especially on your channel. Well, I just figured it was better to play it safe. It's not like my channel's, that big or that popular or anything like that. But it does almost seem like they pick on the little guys. If somebody's got 500 million viewers or something, they're not gonna say boo. Make sure you say, Daner, I could hook you up with obscure ass library music, horror related shit. You gotta stick with the 70s and 80s library shit. There you go. Yeah, X-ray. If you ever want to hook me up, yeah, I'm willing to do that. Dirk or TJ, you said no, it's bad. LOL. So, anyways, I'm going to go over the upcoming watch alongs, as I usually do on these streams. Then I'm going to talk about one thing during the daily grindhouse. And then we're going to get started, and you guys can pelt me with all kinds of uh, questions that you just been itching to ask me. Okay. TJ, you say, actually, Dana, I know some people with 100,000 and in the millions that still get claimed. So who knows? Yeah, you're right, TJ. I mean, there just literally is no rhyme or reason to it. It doesn't really make sense. And I wasn't trying to say anything bad about people that have a lot of subscribers. That's a great thing. That's an awesome thing. I guess sometimes being the low man on the totem pole, um, I feel like, you know, some people that are extremely popular are doing more for YouTube and they leave them alone. But you're right, the stuff just literally seems random. Hey, Gory Tiger. So this Saturday, earlier in the afternoon, I am going to be on Dirk and Darren's An Hour to Kill. But that night, hopefully, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, if I have to adjust it, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But I'm planning on it being 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Will be the 1990s Scream, July 16th, Sleepaway Camp, July 22nd, Jaws 2. July 23rd will be the John Cusack joint, Say Anything, probably my all time favorite John Cusack movie. July 29th, Sleepaway Camp 2. July 30th, Sleepaway Camp 3. Now, starting on August 5th will be my first ever two-part watch along, and that's going to be for Stephen King's Salem's Lot, directed by the late great Tobe Hooper. So part 1 of Salem's Lot will be August 5th, followed on August 6th with part 2. August 12th will be what many people refer to as a horrible, insanely bad slasher movie, and that's Terror on Tour. August 13th will be what many people refer to as one of the greatest rock and or music movies ever made, and that is Almost Famous. That's right, TJ. Just say Scream. Nobody cares and remembers the 80s Scream. I just don't want anybody to be concerned that I'm going to show that piece of crap. August 19th will be the original Pet Cemetery. August 20th, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. August 26th will be the original Brian De Palma directed Carrie. And August 27th will be Mystic Pizza. Yeah, I'm going to try to get my hands on a frozen Mystic Pizza from Louisville's Whole Foods so that I can enjoy that. And again, I hope I can get a pepperoni one. All right, so we're going to go ahead and kick off the intro to the Daily Grindhouse. I'm going to talk about something I got in today and then let the questions flow. So here we go. All righty. So what I got in today was my 4K of The Burning. Okay. Something interesting I wanted to show you guys. You may care or not care. And it kind of got me excited until I realized I don't think they have any extended or deleted scenes shown on here. You guys noticed that on the Blu-ray disc, the 4K is not in there because I was watching it a little earlier. But we don't ever see this scene, or I don't ever recall seeing this scene at the beginning, or not the beginning, the end of The Burning, with the cop walking and Todd and his girlfriend walking behind the cop. So what my only assumption is that is a deleted and or extended scene. Hey, John, it's good to see you again. Long time no see there. So I'll be totally honest with you guys, and some of you will probably say, well, that's what you get for buying something from Scheme Factory. But I had the Blu-ray version already of the Scream Factory version of The Burning. So when I found out the 4K was coming out, of course I had to have it. I love The Burning. I know, CK says Madman's better than The Burning. I don't hate Madman, but my loyalties will always lie with The Burning. That's not to say that I won't ever watch Madman. I own Madman on 4K as well. So, it's just that I prefer this movie. If somebody held a gun to my head and said, you got to pick one out of The Burning or Madman, I would have to say Burning. So, but I'll be honest, I put this in a little bit earlier to check out the transfer. And at first I was disappointed and a little PO'd because it didn't really look that good. Um and at first I didn't even think it looked as good as the Blu-ray. And I was tempted to get the Blu-ray out and compare a few scenes or whatever. Um But as the movie went on, I started to see, colors popping and things looking there a lot of clarity. Now, I will tell you guys that like some of the beginning scenes, and I know Cropsy's been horribly burned, so there is like a smearing or like a fog, and that's supposed to be the way he's seeing things. So I get that. But there were other scenes early in the film where it was like there was almost uh, a film over the images. And I was like, what in the heck? I hope the whole thing isn't going to be like this. But like I said, once it gets really into the present day, or what was the present day when this movie came out, and gets into the camp and all of that, then you start to see things like the colors popping and things looking really clear and all that. So I'm hoping that that continues. I did not get a chance to watch all of it before the stream, but probably after this stream, I'll probably sit down and try to watch the rest of it. So, if you are a fan of The Burning and you want to know what does Dana think this is worth buying on 4K? I do personally. However, as I always tell people, don't just take my word for it. Check out other reviews people have done. Try to find a for free version of this on 4K before you plunk your hard earned money down, okay? Uh, X-Ray, you say I don't like Burning or Madman. Wish I did. Well, that's okay, X-Ray. Everybody isn't going to like everything the same, so I totally get that. TJ, you said, could that just be a composite pick on that Burning disc? That's certainly a possibility, TJ. Good point. John, you say, I have the Blu-ray of The Burning. May just stay there. It's a good one, but I'm a Madman guy. Ha. And that's okay too, John. I know CK is a humongous fan of Madman. John, you say the vibe of the movie is creepy. It's got a certain meanness to it that is memorable of slashers. Right. X-Ray, you say, speaking of Cropsy, they're remaking the video game Clock Tower for current consoles. It's that game that's inspired by Phenomena and The Burning with Scissor Man chasing Jennifer Connelly. Oh, cool. That sounds awesome. TJ says, I like them equally, John. Which that's great too. I mean, we have all different, ideas about all of these different movies. Um, Now, if there are any of you that are, watching this or may watch it later that have never seen The Burning, let me just give you a quick and dirty rundown of the plot, real quick. A group of summer camp pranksters get the scare of their lives when they target the camp's creepy caretaker, and he takes bloody revenge. This terrifying tale is a brilliant slasher flick and gory as hell. Slasherpool.com said that. Gruesome and stomach churning, box office said that. After a cruel joke goes awry, severely burning him and subjecting him to 5 years of intensive, unsuccessful skin graft treatments, Cropsey, played by Lou David, is back at camp and ready to wreak havoc on those who scarred him. Starring Brian Matthews of Crime Stopper, Leah Ayers of Bloodsport, Brian Baker, who was on Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and he plays Alfred in this. And Larry Joshua, who was in Dances with Wolves, and featuring early film appearances by Fisher Stevens of Short Circuit, Jason Alexander of Seinfeld, and Holly Hunter, Raising Arizona. The Burning is a grim and nasty movie that gets under your skin. eFilmCritic.com said that. Ooh, good question, Uncle Bill. And this will probably be a good place to, I'm going to quit talking about The Burning for now. A good place to kick off these questions. Okay. Let me read what John said here. Yeah, TJ, I mean, The Burning is probably a better slasher type movie, but Madman just wins me over with that theme and the hot tub scene. Uncle Bill, you want to know schizoid or X-ray? I think for me, it would be schizoid. Have you watched those yet, Uncle Bill? I'm just eagerly waiting to hear what you think of those movies. Uncle Bill, you also say, have you ever seen Zombie 4? Dang, I can't even remember which one that one is, Uncle Bill. We'll have to cheat here. Oh, Zombie 4 After Death. You know, and that one's directed by Claudio Fragasso. It almost seems like Steve and I had watched that at one point, but I'm not 100% sure, Uncle Bill. So I'm not really sure if I've seen Zombie 4 or not. TJ, you say, ironically, Cropsey never kills the actual people who messed him up. LOL. No, he does not. He most certainly does not. Because there's only, and I'm not going to give it completely away for those of you that haven't seen this movie, which you actually never see any of that first group of kids that messed him up, except for one. And I'm not going to tell you who that is. John, you say favorite Bill Lustig movie? I would have to say Maniac. John, that I always go back to that one, and I'm not saying Bill Lustig didn't have, some other worthy entries into his directing repertoire, but Maniac Cop and stuff like that, but. Yeah, I would just have to say Maniac. That one just works on so many demented levels. It's probably the best way I could describe it. And I had forgotten that Bill Lustig was a fake shimp on Army of Darkness. He was also a dock worker on Darkman, so. But yeah, have to go with Maniac there. TJ, you say I saw it, but remember zero about Zombie 4. LOL. Vigilante's very good too, John. I'd almost forgotten about that one. You said good one. I probably love Vigilante the most because it's such a cool grindhouse type film as a good Death Wish type ripoff. Exactly. And I had that one on Blu-ray too. You and a lot of other people, Uncle Bill, because I don't think you're the only one that has said, I just can't stand Jason Alexander and the Burning. Awful actor and character. I don't know. I guess, I don't know, me being the weird person that I am, Jason Alexander never really bothered me in that movie. I just, obviously he was too old to be playing the character he was playing. There's no doubt about that. But he didn't irritate me or anything. Yeah, I do agree with that. Plus, he looks like he's 35 and playing a teen. And Blissful agrees with you, Uncle Bill. Um, so I don't want to feel like I'm just hounding and begging people to come on here with me. But again, if anybody wants to come in on the stream with me, you can either ask me questions or people can ask you questions if you come on here with me. You know, it doesn't just have to be all about me, it can be about other people because, like I say, there's only so many questions that you guys can ask me before it kind of disintegrates or dissolves or whatever. But y'all keep these good questions coming. These are some, they're always interesting. But, oh, yeah, Uncle Bill, I keep forgetting. Yeah, you're welcome to try. We'll see how it goes. Um, so, by the way, how's the GoFundMe going? Because I saw there were actually people giving money. I would have gave you some money too, Uncle Bill, but I got to get groceries and things like that. um, let's see. I can put that link back in there so you don't have to go searching for it. And it doesn't have to be Uncle Bill, just Uncle Bill, guys. Um, TJ could come on again if he wanted to. John, you know, I know Blissful has told me she's shy. Um, but I'm hoping that we can get her on here live on the stream at some point in time. X-Ray, you'd be welcome to come on. I haven't ever had you on here. Gory Tiger, I mean, Johnny say, here's one. Do you think we'll hit a point in the next 5 years where we hit a wall of what comes out? I'm hoping so. I think it's coming, John. I don't know if it'll be in the next 5 years, but I definitely think that is gonna it's gonna come. Um, just it's just only a matter of time. I think we've been teetering on the edge of that happening for the last 10, possibly 20 years. 10 at least. 10 or 15. TJ, you say Alexander was only 21 and a half, which is funny how close he was to teen. LOL. Really? I didn't realize he was that young. Blissful says someday soon, hopefully. LOL. Uh, yeah, I think you guys have outdone yourself already with this Ask Me Anything because um, there's always some good questions, but there have been a lot of really, ones that they made me think, but they weren't so hard that I couldn't come up with an answer pretty quickly. But that's okay. If you want to ask me harder ones, that's fine. John, you say, I love physical media, but I think how many years can I buy stuff over and over? It's great. Dopamine hits, though. Yep. I think I must have had dopamine overload a week or so ago when I was buying all that shit from Severin and Vinegar Syndrome and Lord knows when I'm going to get that stuff in. I went whole hog and bought a bunch of shit at those places and then got some bunch of stuff from Amazon, got some stuff off of eBay. I just went ape shit. I don't know what in the world um, possessed me to do that. And, I was talking about physical media, John. A lot of people have mentioned this, and I'm starting to feel it now too. I love my physical media, but and I don't want to go to purely digital or purely streaming. I don't want to. That collecting side of me is just it's like, ooh, gotta be able to touch it and smell of it, what have you. And you just can't do that with the digital or streaming stuff. Plus, no matter how many people tell me that that stuff won't go away, that it won't just go poof, that I'm crazy for thinking that, I can't get that out of the back of my mind. Uh, but space is definitely becoming an issue because it's not just me that has stuff. I mean, Steve has stuff, and we haven't really slowed down with our buying of physical media. Neither one of us has. TJ, you say when they start implanting movies on our brains, we'll pay for them too. LOL. Uh, yeah, I'm like blissful, TJ. That's frightening. I don't want anybody to implant movies in my brain. I don't want to go that far. I'll stick with my like virtual reality VR headsets and stuff like that. I don't want anything in my sitting in my brain like that. But yeah, I've been hearing, things, little inklings of that about, before long that'll be how we watch movies is, it something will be implanted in your brain. You can watch it all day and all night. Bliss, what you say? My luck, it will be Hallmark movies. It'll be like a Clockwork Orange or something, or they'll be trying to um, do wiping our brains or something like that. Yeah, but I don't know if I want to see anything, even Terror on Tour, every time I close my eyes. That's kind of creepy, just just thinking about that. Um, John, you say any new movies coming out that you're looking forward to in the theater? I know that's a silly question with the shit they put out now. Hell, John, I don't know what's even. Can anybody name some of the stuff that's coming out soon? Because I don't know. I hear about these things in little bits and pieces, just like I heard about Boogeyman, and went to see it. And of course, you can't get away from the superhero type of movies and all of that, which I do like some of them, but I do feel like the market's oversaturated with them. But I did see Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which, guys and gals, talking about that movie, me and Steve were both crying in the theater in that one. 'Cause that one has been the hardest Guardians of the Galaxy for me to watch. And just keep in mind, if you have pets, that movie's probably certain parts of that movie is probably going to hit you really hard. Just a warning. I'm not saying it's not a good movie. Um, Uh, Blissful says, thank you for the nightmares, TJ. Johnny said Guardians 3 was very sad. Oh, Steve doesn't usually cry in the movie theater, and I don't either, but we were both crying towards the end of it. TJ, you say Beetlejuice 2 interest or the Salem's Lot remake? I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about Beetlejuice 2. Um, I don't know. But as far as Salem's Lot remake, they would have to do something absolutely spectacular to impress me with that. Because there's been some bad, Salem's Lot sequels or a bad Salem's Lot sequel and all that. And I just find the original to be so nearly perfect that I just can't imagine anybody else putting anything out that would even begin to come close to that. Hey, Darren. Darren, by the way, if you want to come on live, you can. I don't. Uncle Bill said something about trying, but his bless his heart, his Chromebook is on its last legs. So I don't know if he's going to be able to join me or not. And if you get any of you guys, like I said, if any of you guys come on here with me live on the stream, you can either ask me questions, people in the chat can ask you questions, whatever works, or we can mix and match or whatever. Hey, Undead of Night, you say, hi, all three. I'm looking forward to seeing Maxine. I am looking forward to seeing that one. Talk to me in the last voyage of the Demeter. Yeah, I can say that I'm looking forward to Maxine. But y'all are really coming up with some good questions. I'm not trying to stroke anybody's ego or anything. These are really good questions tonight. Oh, sorry, John. I missed that up there. You say, I'm curious about Beetlejuice 2. Yeah, I would say I'm probably curious about it. And the Friday 13th show, but I got no expectations. Yeah, I'm curious about that Friday 13th show as well. Darren, you say, I'm definitely not camera ready. I'm watching you tucked up in bed. Well, that's okay. You can be live from your bed if you want to, Darren. But you don't have to. I see Uncle Bill there. I better hurry up and add him before he goes away. Before he disappears on me here. Hey, Uncle Bill.
When have I just disappeared, by the way?
No, I'm talking about like when y'all did the horror roundtable. You was on there for like 30 seconds and would go away. That's what I meant. Not that you would just say fuck Dana and I'm getting out of here. Just that your Chromebook would decide to make you leave.
So I'm using Piper's Chromebook right now, which, like I've said, my mother must have had she must have found a sale on Chromebooks because she bought me one and she bought Piper one for Christmas. And that's this thing is not much better, by the way, than the other one that I've got, but at least it's
is it
workable.
More stable?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
We'll see how long this lasts, but yeah.
Let's see what John says. John says Hollywood has kind of regressed back at the box office. I'm hoping it signals a change. If you think about films in the 30s and 40s, it's mostly drama, westerns, and some horror. Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's what we need. We just need a gigantic reset button and just, reset the landscape pretty much. I really think that that's what needs to be done.
Well, yeah, one of the things I was talking about on that show before my computer started going nuts was just how like every movie is bombed. Like every big blockbuster that they were counting on, to work, and it's all bombed, with the exception of Barbie. I guess did okay, and then
I don't know.
Insidious.
Can I talk about the Barbie movie here for? I have absolutely zero interest in seeing that movie. Number one, but and no offense to anybody that's planning on going to see it or taking their kids to see it or anything like that. I'm not. Are your any of your kids wanting to see it, Uncle Bill? No.
No, thankfully not, because I would fucking rather do just about anything than go see that movie.
You'd probably have to drop the kids and Savannah off, and you go do something else rather than
I don't think Savannah would want to watch it. I
Savannah
think
doesn't want to watch it if
drop
she
the
can.
kids off, drop little like 8-year-old
Yeah.
and 5-year-old off.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, I guess. Well, I don't know if Piper would be interested in that at all. Probably not.
Mm-mm.
Um,
I don't know who the fuck that movie's made for. Honestly,
I, you know, like I said, no offense to anybody that's planning on going to see it or anything, but I was telling Steve tonight, I was like, that looks like the lamest piece of crap I've ever seen. It's so lame looking. And maybe if I was, I don't know how young I would have to be before this would be interesting to me. I guess at the time I was playing with Barbies, I'd have to be that age again, um, before I would, get anything out of it. And that's been many moons ago since I was playing with Barbie dolls. So, um,
I mean, okay, so it's not for little kids because it's not an animated film, and
right.
like little kids don't give a shit about live action films or anything like that. It's not really for like the group of kids today because they don't even really like Barbie that much anymore. It's not for adults, I don't think, because like who the fuck would want to go to a Barbie movie?
Well, and I'm not trying to call Rob out or anything, but am I delusional or like I can't remember if you were on that stream or not or in that stream that I
You
had.
say he was going to it or
I
something?
could have sworn. Don't set this
Uh,
in stone because Rob would be pissed at me if I talked out of turn. Uh, but I thought he said that he was actually considering going to see it.
I mean, he might be. Rob's really into film, so I mean, he goes and sees
Yeah.
like pretty much whatever. I think just to see how it does and everything. But I don't know. That movie's just terrifying to me for some reason. It's more terrifying than the Red Door for sure.
Yeah.
Which I think Savannah wants to go see that one, so we'll go see that one. I have no like she was asking me the other night. She was like, which Insidious movie was this in? And which I'm like, I have no fucking idea. I don't remember any of those movies except the first one.
Yeah.
I like
I don't think I do either. I think the first one was it for me, and I think I had that one. I was thinking I had it. Maybe I don't, but I did see it though.
she's like, is that the one where the kids in the bed all the time? And I'm just like, I have no idea. I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, and I know I've seen all those movies in the theater.
And
Oh,
see, Savannah's a
any
big
idea?
horror fan, so if she can't even remember, there's no hope for anybody else, is there?
No.
Um, let's see. John says it'd be cool if it went that way a while, less blockbuster BS. Like I think I think this was something you guys brought up on the last roundtable was that there's way too many superhero comic book movies, and I would have to agree. There's only a handful of those damn things that I like. The Guardians of the Galaxy I like. I like Deadpool. Um, but I don't like every damn one that comes out. There's only certain ones like the Avengers stuff. I like some of that, but the X-Men movies, I was never into those X-Men movies when they came out, and Steve was, but I wasn't. Um, Spider-Man, I like okay. Like I'm talking about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah.
I was just a little pissed when Sam Raimi was like, "Yeah, I don't want to do no Evil Dead stuff anymore. I want to make Spider-Man movies." But he did. I will say he did an excellent job with the Doctor Strange movie that he did. I mean that one was awesome, and there were a lot of aha moments, like Sam Raimi put his little touches all over
I mean,
that.
the guy is really like he's not really a horror director. He's kind of just like a what would you call him? Like a prodigy or something. Like he's just a
Mhm.
insanely talented filmmaker. So I can see why. I mean, he doesn't want to keep repeating the same things over and over and over again. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of people like that would want him to do it, but he kind of did it in a way when he did Drag Me to Hell. That's kind of what he was. I think what he was doing was
But see,
doing an
Drag
Evil
Me to
Dead movie
Hell, I
without doing.
hate that movie. I hate that movie. And I hate to say that because Sam Raimi's my hero. Uh, and I hated to say that about it. And I wanted to like Drag Me to Hell, but I
I
just
did too.
could not make myself like it. It was almost like they threw everything but the kitchen sink in that movie that was anyway related to like Sam Raimi or any of the Evil Dead stuff and all that. And I'm like, and forgive me, guys and gals, if you're Justin Long fans, but I hate that guy. I can't. I mean, I hate his acting. I mean, I don't
He,
necessarily have anything against the guy himself, but
I've been, I've been okay with him, and then I've also hated a lot of stuff that he's done too. So he's all over the board for me. Like I liked him in Jeepers Creepers, and I liked him in Zack and Miri. And there's a
mhm.
couple of other films like that I've liked him in, but I didn't like him in that movie. I did not like him in Barbarian at all. Like he's,
Oh no, he was the most reprehensible piece of shit in
but
that movie.
he wasn't even good either though. Like I
No, he
mean,
wasn't. He was just flat. There was no.
that part of the movie just dies. Like when he comes into it, like
Yeah,
there's a noticeable like change.
exactly. Yeah, because when that movie first started, it's like, what the hell? That you're going to be in for a ride, and then he shows up, and it's like letting the air out of a balloon.
Yeah.
Um, or that's the way I felt about it anyway. Um, let's see. TJ says I hear okay things about Insidious: The Red Door, so it's better than hearing a lot of hate for it, I guess. But you got to be wary of that stuff too, because there's so many people out there now. And again, I'm not meaning to pick on younger people. We sound like we're I can just see it now when I get about 70, if I make it to 70, be like, I remember when the horror movies were good, and all you youngins, y'all don't know what's good anymore.
Youngins.
I'll be sitting there in my rocking chair with my hair up in a bun, talking about the good old days of horror when things were great. Um, and young people be like, "All right, Grandma, just you know." But you just I'm just leery of like sometimes if something gets too good a press, it makes me more leery of it. But since TJ said I hear okay things, he didn't hear people saying like, "Oh God, this is the best movie ever." I think I would be more leery if they were
Well,
saying
shit,
that.
even when you hear that, yeah, you know it's gonna be awful. Like Scream 6 when it came out, everybody was like, "It's the best movie that you've ever seen."
I mean,
And it's
Scream
like,
6 wasn't awful for me, but it was just okay. Steve, speaking of Scream 6, Steve just got the steel book in
oh
of
boy,
that.
I relive that again.
You notice I didn't buy that one, but he did.
I'm
Um,
good.
but TJ also wants to know, what do y'all think about the actors strike? I don't know. I don't think I've
It's
ever actually thought about it.
it's funny though because I just saw that story today. I guess it just happened earlier today or maybe yesterday. So apparently, like the Screen Actors Guild wasn't able to reach any kind of a deal on their own. So the actors' strike was to help them, I guess, more so than anything else. Just kind of like try to get them a deal. I think that was the
Mhm.
purpose of it. Like, um, I honest to God, when I saw that story, I was just thinking to myself, like, I just wonder if anybody will give a shit because at this point in the game, it's like there's
I don't
so
think they
much
will.
stuff like already on and everything, and so much physical media and so much like streaming stuff. Like, if they didn't make stuff for like a couple of years, I don't think anybody would even really notice. And even the shit that they do make, it's like I don't care if a movie like the movies they put out nowadays, like if they stop making those for a year or two, I would be perfectly fine. Like I would
I think
not.
I would be too, but just because the good stuff that I even want to consider watching are few and far between. Um, it's very rare, and Steve's probably relieved, but it's very rare that I want to go to the movies and see anything and pay those high prices for tickets. And I've got to have my popcorn and my icy when I go to the movies. Now, Steve could take it or leave it. He went to the movies for years and wouldn't even get popcorn. I'm like, that's not right. You got to get popcorn at least when you go to the movies because there's nothing like movie popcorn.
I can see Steve don't want nothing like that. Get him a bowl of cereal from the house with no milk in it. Take it with him. He'll chew on that.
No, he just used to go
And
before we were together. He would go to the movies and he wouldn't get any. He would buy his ticket. He would go sit in there and watch the movie, but he wouldn't get any kind of refreshments or nothing. I don't even think he'd get a Coke. So I'm just wondering, like the chicks he dated before he and I got together, I just wonder if he would buy them anything.
Steve was like, "I'll take 2 cups of ice. How much is that? 10 cents. All right, I'm
He
sorry.
probably wouldn't even want to do that if they're going to charge him 10.
Yeah,
Oh
just
man, I just I wonder about some things sometimes, just because it doesn't matter one way or the other. He chose me out of the other women that he dated. He didn't choose them, but Steve. Believe it or not, some people may think Steve never dated prior to me, but he did. He had dated, you know, several different women before me. So,
Steve's a
uh,
regular Valentino.
yeah,
Listen though, this is good. I didn't know this, but TJ says it would also affect actors not going to conventions like Comic Con. That would be another great side effect if it killed off all these fucking lame ass
yeah.
conventions. Jesus Christ, that would be wonderful.
Well, maybe if that happened for a while, let's say it killed off the convention circuit for a while. If it came back, I'm wondering if it would be better because
No,
it was kind of,
it's
you don't
gone.
think it would,
As Jim Cornette would say, that horse has left the barn now. Like it's over with. I mean, it'll never get back to the point where they care enough about the fans anymore to lower prices or anything like that.
right.
Like they're
So
always just gonna
I think we just need to do the dead pit get together thing. Forget these conventions and just all get together and have one big party. I think
yeah.
that's
I
what we
mean, we
need.
got to at some point because we gotta have to do something to entertain ourselves. Because I ain't paying $80 to get a photograph with fucking you know, Paul Kratka, whoever. They're
Oh,
charging insane amounts of money for now.
oh, man.
Mm.
Is he really asking that much, or do you
I
know?
had seen some. I don't know about him per se, but I had seen some like pricings from just some people that were at a Friday the 13th reunion. It was like 60 to $80 for a photo op for a
Was
lot of them.
Larry Zerner there? I'm just wondering.
I don't remember Zerner being there.
Oh,
But it's just crazy nowadays. Like, and I'm amazed that people will spend money on shit like that. So maybe lock that stuff down for a while, kick the promoters in the ass for a while. Something will come out of it. I doubt it though. They're all pretty
I
greedy
don't know if they need to
shitheads.
kick the promoters in the ass, or somebody needs to take some of these actors and actresses down a notch. It's like, who do you think you are? I mean, especially these
A lot of
people
these
that,
people, honest to God, a lot of them are like living off these conventions.
yeah,
Like they go to every single one of them, and they're not really doing a whole lot else. They're just living off the conventions. They make a pretty good living, tax free, by the way, off these fucking conventions. Which I don't know when that'll ever end either, but that's insane to me.
yeah, it's pretty insane if I sit around and think about it. Fortunately, I don't do that. None of us do
It
that, I
just
hope.
it just always bothers me that they still get away with the shit that they do.
Uh, I'm like Blissful. She says, "I'll watch it only if Barbie is melted." So Barbie and Ken, they can melt them both. That would be awesome.
I guarantee you though, Dan, that's probably one movie I'll never watch.
I don't envision myself ever watching it. Darren wants to know, what standalone horror film would you have liked to have multiple sequels?
Good
Um,
question.
gosh, if I picking one though, that's kind of.
I can think of a couple. I
I
mean,
can
off the
think
top of
of
my head.
probably multiple ones for me that, you know, we're talking about Bill Lustig movies earlier, and I said Maniac was probably my favorite Bill Lustig movie. Um, I wish, and they actually at one time were thinking about making a Maniac 2, or something
Yeah,
along those lines, and then it never materialized. And then of course Joe
wasn't it
Spinell
like
passed
Mr.
away.
Robbie or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. And I would have liked to seen what they could have done with that. Um, and unfortunately, all you can see is kind of like I don't know if you call it a promo reel or what. It's not, or a trailer maybe. It's not a lot of footage um, that you can see of it. But I guess maybe if you think about the last horror film, or The Fanatic, some people might consider that kind of Maniac too, because it's got Joe Spinell and Caroline Monroe in it. And basically, uh, Joe Spinell's like reprising the role, only not quite as dark, maybe,
Yeah.
as his role in Maniac. But yeah, I definitely would have liked to have seen, a sequel to that. Um, Trying to think of another one. You go ahead, Uncle Bill, if there's a
Well, the
couple
ones that
of those.
immediately came to mind, Killer Clowns. There should have been
Oh,
multiple sequels to that movie
yeah, that was screaming for a sequel, that movie.
because I mean, just the characters were so interesting, and there were so many different ways they could go with that story. It should have been like Critters or Ghoulies or something like that, where they just made like a million of them just to cash in on that idea.
Mhm.
Um, but they didn't. Um, and then Madman. I wish there had been a sequel to Madman because I think that it was a
That
good,
that would have been
or
interesting.
The Burning, or any of those movies like that were standalone kind of
I've even think, and
slashers.
I know a lot of people don't like The Prowler, but I would have liked to have seen a sequel or two to The Prowler.
I just bought that, by the way, on Blue Underground had a sale. I did not have that on Blu-ray for
Oh,
some reason,
really?
and they just had a sale, and I bought that, and I got Stage Fright, which I also didn't have on Blu-ray. And but yeah, you're right. That would be a good one for a sequel.
I mean, a lot of these, low budget slashers, I wonder what they could have done with them. Even I'm not saying they would have had to make like Friday the 13th level a number of sequels, but maybe a couple, or maybe just one. Maybe they just made a part two to them. But it seems like the only things that got multiple sequels were things like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, it's
Uh,
hard to think honestly of like if you think of really really good horror films from the 80s. It's hard to think of ones that didn't have a sequel.
yeah,
Like Fright Night had a sequel. The Howling had like 50 sequels. Children of the
right.
Corn had 100 sequels. And you think of any movie that was just even barely popular and it, had sequels. Don't even get me started on Hellraiser. That fucking thing's still going on. More sequels than any of them. But
And the
yeah,
thing about Hellraiser, and I've said this before, is that I would have been happy with just Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2. Or I would have been happy with just Hellraiser. They wouldn't even had to go with, I know that's blasphemous to people that like Kirsty's um, character, um, because she is pretty much featured in part two quite a bit as opposed to the first one. But I mean, I think Hellraiser could have been an awesome standalone film.
oh
Uh,
yeah,
but they chose to go another route with that, and unfortunately there were some awful sequels in there mixed in there too.
yeah. There. I mean, all of these movies have like that have once you get past 3 or 4 sequels, it gets really, really terrible majority of the time. So,
Mm.
like any of those movies that I just mentioned that you can think of the sequels to them are just there's some real turds in there, um, like along the way, and there's even other stuff even lower than that that got a ton of sequels. Look at that damn witchcraft series.
Yeah, and I don't
I
know why.
and subspecies they just
Mm,
released another fucking subspecies movie. It's got like 5 sequels
yeah.
or 4 sequels, I guess. So I don't know. Anything in the world can have a million sequels. Um, there are very few standalone horror films of that time period that didn't have sequels that made any kind of impact.
Hmm. Yeah, I was just sitting here trying to think what. Well, here's one that might be unpopular with people, but My Bloody Valentine. I mean, they could have made at least one sequel to that film, and I definitely would have watched. But here's the thing: I've said this before. You don't need to wait too long. Don't do like with Dark Knight of the Scarecrow or something.
Oh
That
god, yeah.
God, that sequel was awful. I
Or
tried to watch it.
I know you probably haven't seen this, but like a bigger name too that they did was Hocus Pocus, where they waited like
Mm,
30 years to do a sequel to it or whatever, and that movie's fucking awful
it was
too. Hocus
bad.
Pocus 2, it's like Jesus. Yeah, anytime anybody does that, it's awful. Like if you wait that long and try to do a sequel, it's going to be complete
So
trash.
my next thing when talking about that is think how many years it's been since the Mutilator came out. And
It's
when's
been a
that
minute.
Mutilator 2 supposed to, is it already out or when's it coming out?
I just remember seeing the trailer. I don't remember what date it was or anything like that.
Because I'm just worried about that one too.
Oh, that
Because
looks like
Dark Knight
complete
the
shit.
Scarecrow was
That's not
awesome,
even
but
that's
that
not even a
second one,
question, Dana. Like that movie, I is 100% guaranteed to be awful. I hate to say it, but like it
yeah,
looks like
I have a bad feeling about it.
it
Um,
looks cheaper than like I mean, it looks like a movie. Like, no offense, that Goose would have made back with us back in the day. That's what it looked like.
But see, that's the thing. Goose's movies, though, were at least entertaining. Like you could get something out of them. Like that Dark Knight of the Scarecrow sequel. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe that they thought that this was a good idea.
Yeah, me either.
But let's see what else people are. Good question, Darren. By the way. Um, so Darren's got another one. Is there one movie that no one likes, but you would absolutely die on a hill for, and you can't pick Terror on Tour, Dana?
It's a good question.
Oh gosh, if I can't pick Terror on Tour, let's see. Die on a hill for. Well, if you think of one, Uncle Bill, you go ahead and spit it out. I'm still thinking.
One that like everybody hates, but I love. God. Hmm. Well, I mean, I don't know if everybody hates this movie, but like, I know there's a lot of really bad movies that I love, and like a lot of the Bruno Mattei movies, like Hell, Living Dead, I love,
Right.
and Rats,
Mhm.
and even like most of the Claudio Fragasso movies I love too. So Beyond Darkness, uh, not Beyond the Darkness. It's a weird kind of distinction too, because those are two
Mhm.
completely different movies, but like
Exactly.
they're almost have the exact same title, Beyond the Darkness. Oh yeah, Dracula 3D. That's I'm not going to die on a hill for that movie though, because like I don't even think that movie's that good. I just said it wasn't that bad either, and it's
Right.
not. It's not that bad.
I think I thought of one, and this is one that I think you and CK both don't much care for. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, Uncle Bill. But Final Exam, I know CK.
No, we both hate that movie. It's true.
And see, I cannot understand why exactly you guys hate it.
Because
Maybe
it's like
one of
watching paint dry, Dave. There ain't nothing that goes
you
on in
told
that
me
movie.
he knows you're along was like watching old people eat one time, Uncle Bill. So I can't go by what you say.
I probably did say that. Yeah.
So if I can't pick Tara on tour, Darren, I'd have to pick Final Exam because that one runs a close second with a lot of people saying God. Um, but let me ask you this though, Uncle Bill, since I've got you on here. With Final Exam though, is one of the things that you don't like is some random guy just showing up at the college and killing people, or there
I don't even really care about that as much as
that
I do
doesn't
just
bother
the
you?
fact that it's just. I tell you a movie it reminds me of, and I mean you can agree to disagree, but Cutting Class is another fucking slasher film that's just like just sitting there watching it. I just want to go to sleep, and it's got kills in it and stuff. None of them are memorable, and it follows the formula of a slasher film, but it's just so the
I
pacing is.
don't know how I
Oh.
feel about Cutting Class. I've seen it. Steve and I watched it, but
Can you remember anything about it at all?
I remember Jill Schoen's in
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, other than who's in it, can you remember anything
And
about the plot? Because I can't.
what
I just watched it
I
about 6 months
think
ago.
I think that's one of the things. The plot is it's not a cut and dried plot, which for a slasher movie, the plot should be cut and dried. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't need to, and I'm not saying it's too convoluted either. It just rides a line between having too much shit going on and not having like, even though it's got Jill Schoen and doesn't this one have Brad Pitt in it?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Even though it's got some recognizable actors and actresses in it, those are not standout performances from any of those
No, nothing
people.
happens in that.
Even Jill Schoen, who I love in most stuff, um, she just seemed to like she was taking a back seat for some reason with that movie. And I don't hate it. I mean, it might be good for a watch on a lazy Sunday or something like that, but it's not something I'm going to continually go back to. Uh,
There was a period there where right around that time period too, where slashers were like dying out, where they were just making them like super on the cheap, and also like they I don't know if they didn't have the money for special effects, or a lot of times you could see these directors, they would just stretch out scenes for
mhm.
long periods of time just to feel like 80, 90 minutes just to make the movie like go through. And then the kill scenes would be a lot of cutaways and a lot of bullshit because by that point the MMPA was fucking everybody over. So it was a horrible time to make slasher films because it was just everything you liked about slasher films by that point had been kind of neutered, and they were just boring, almost like thrillers, like Lifetime movie thrillers, and like
Yeah.
Doctor Giggles is kind of that way too. I mean, they cut out like a ton of the gore. If it wasn't for Larry Drake, like I would hate that movie too.
Well, Larry Drake makes that movie.
Yeah,
I have to agree with that. Um,
but I mean, that to me, Final Exam is an example of one of those types of movies like that where it's just they're just stretching out shit to make a movie. There's nothing memorable about that that I can think of about that movie, in my opinion, Dana. My humble
yeah,
opinion.
but that's okay. It's okay for people to have opinions, um, because I don't know. The world would be a very boring place if I didn't have you and CK to like have these good, healthy debates about things like terror on
You need
tour,
us to
final exam.
counterbalance you, Dana.
Yeah, so I don't go too far out one way or the other. Um, so that's a good question too, Darren, and thank you for making me or forcing me not to say terror on tour because you knew I was going to say
Son
terror
of
on
a-
tour.
yeah.
Um, Blissful says, I'm low key excited for Terror on Tour. I'll time myself out now. That's okay. That means Blissful will be guaranteed to be there for that watch along with bells on. And Uncle Bill, speaking of that watch along, why won't you come on that with me? That would be the perfect time for you to like just give this movie hell, and I would
Well,
let
are you talking about coming on Watchdog for Terror on tour?
you. Yes.
That's like asking, like, why don't you come along and like, put your ball sack into a mouse trap? I mean, I don't want to torture myself, Dana.
I I just thought it'd be great to have you and CK on.
Lord,
And then y'all could give me hell the whole watch along. See what a piece of shit this is, Dana?
I,
Look at this
I
mess.
don't think we'd do that though. I think we'd probably just fall asleep like that movie.
Oh my gosh.
It's like NyQuil for the soul.
Good Lord.
Who knows? Like anything could happen. When is that one coming up?
Well, I'm gonna have to look again. I got so many damn watch alongs. I do watch alongs every Saturday and Sunday. So Steve said, what are you gonna do when you run out of movies? And I said, that ain't possible. There'll
Yeah, like
always be something I could watch.
fucking Vinegar Syndrome is still putting out the most horrible '80s movies of all time. Like they've been doing it for years.
It's not until August 12th, which will be a Saturday.
All right, we'll see. I mean, that's a ways away.
Yeah, you might decide it won't be so bad. But let's see what else people are asking here. John says, "Oh God, an actors and writers strike. Lloyd Kaufman and Charles Bane are going to double their output now. Nonsense."
Yeah, they need to strike while the iron is hot. Put out a bunch of stuff.
Dirk wants to know the best horror movie from last year. This year has been mediocre except
Oh
Infinity
my
Pool.
god, dude! I'm gonna
Was
have to. I'm gonna have to look up what the movies from last year were.
Yeah,
Like
gosh
from
dang.
this last year. Hold
What
on.
is happening to my brain? I think I'm going senile.
No, it's just everything's been awful. Like, I mean, honest to God, like the mainstream theatrical movies have been pure hell for me. Let's see.
What was last year? 2022.
Is he talking about? Are you talking about 2022? Or are you talking about like 2023 up to now?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, there's that Piggy movie that Steve watched. That was god awful. I didn't like that movie.
God, so many horrible movies. 2022. Okay. Well, that's a little bit different.
Oh, I didn't like that Menu movie. God, it's
Well,
horrible.
shit on you, Dana. I enjoyed it.
You like the Menu?
That's one of my favorite movies. Yeah.
Orphan First Kill wasn't too bad.
Okay, so X I liked, but I'm just reading off some movies here. X I
Yeah,
liked,
I
but
like Dex.
I didn't like it as much as Pearl. I thought Pearl was a lot better.
They just seem to keep getting better, which is why I hold out great hope for Maxine.
Barbarian was stupid.
Yeah. Oh, bodies, bodies, bodies. No, no, thank you.
Let's see what else they had here. Lord, there's all these movies that are just pure solid trash.
Crimes of the Future. I think I would like that one, but I didn't get a chance to watch that one yet. I think
Have
Steve
not seen that
watched
one
it.
yet.
Oh, Deadstream. That was a horrible movie. Steve watched
The
that one.
Black Phone I liked. I didn't like the ending as much, but I liked the lead up to the ending and thought Ethan Hawke was great.
Oh God, I can't believe they have this. Well, Collider's got like the best horror movies of 2022, and they got that freaking glorious movie on here. That Rebecca McKendry
Oh God!
mess.
So listen to this thing. This is when the list starts to get really bad. These movies all came out in 2022. Firestarter remake,
Mm,
Halloween Ends, the Hellraiser thing.
mm.
Like it really started to fall apart here.
Oh gosh, Men's on here. That was dumb. Didn't like the menu.
I don't remember if Scream 5 or 6 came out, but either one of them sucked.
Nope, I didn't much care for.
Yeah, Skinamarink, that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, Uncle Bill's trying to get at me.
Let's
Pearl's
see.
on here, so I liked Pearl. I didn't like that Piggy movie. Steve watched that one too.
Did you like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Netflix movie?
No,
It was a good one.
God no.
Loved it.
Prey was pretty good. Did you watch that one?
Yeah, the Predator one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that
Yeah,
one
that
was
one was
okay.
pretty decent.
Um,
All the sadness, I didn't care for that one because it just like it didn't make me sick, but it was too just
oh come on! I was going to ask you that anyway. By the
disgusting.
way, while I've got you on here, because I know Steve is like uber into this stuff, so the sadness was pretty close to this. What is your opinion on Cat 3 movies, Dana? Like, I mean, overall,
If Steve's watching one and I happen to walk into the room, I
I'm
might,
sure
if
he's
I
always
have
watching.
nothing else to do, I might, which is rare because I usually have something better to do than watching a Cat 3 movie. But if for whatever reason I don't have anything pressing to do, I might sit down and watch one. But I don't, honestly, I don't get anything out of them. They're just not my cup of tea, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of didn't. I didn't figure that you liked them because I was watching the Untold Story today, and I was kind of like, who in the fuck would like really like this? And I thought Steve. I think Steve would fucking.
Yeah, if you think about movies that nobody else would like, Steve probably likes them, you know.
Very
And I,
odd. Yeah.
something funny, speaking of that type of stuff, I told Steve, I was like, because I can see his movie shelf. Like, this is where I come back to work. Every day, I come back to my desk and get my work laptop out, and that's what I do. So one day I was working and I just happened to glance over at one side of his movie shelf over here. And what popped out at me was that freaking Infernal Rapist movie.
It's his favorite.
And I told him, I said, Steve, out of all the movies you got on that part of the shelf, that one popped out. It's like got bright green lettering on there that says Infernal Rapist. And
Yeah.
he says, oh, great. Um, I guess he figured I was going to go on and on about it, but let's see what else is on this list here. Um, Scream 2022.
5 cream.
Yeah, exactly. Smile. Okay, here's the thing about Smile. Have you seen Smile, Uncle Will?
Unfortunately, I have. Yeah.
Okay, I was behind that movie 100% or nearly 100% until the end, and they
Yep.
freaking copped out at the end.
I don't even know what the hell they did at the end, but I just thought that it was the most ridiculous looking shit ever. I kind of agree with you though. Like up until that point, it's really been freaking me out. Like a lot of that movie
Yeah,
been freaking me out. But then, like when you see, which they made a horrible mistake by showing the thing. I feel like if they would have not ever shown like what it was or whatever, it
mhm.
would have been like infinitely better than what that was at the end.
So yeah, X is definitely one I would pick. Some of these I don't even remember. Good Lord. I don't even remember Steve talking about them.
Yeah, some of them are just like shit that would be like independent films that not a lot of people have even seen. I don't think that they had on those lists.
But I can't believe, well, it's probably young people putting these lists together. It's got to be because some of this stuff is just god awful. There's that menu movie, Smile. I liked, a lot of people didn't like Megan. I liked it for what it was. It's not going to be my be all end all of horror movies or anything.
I liked it. I'm not ashamed to say it.
There's that Piggy movie. Yeah, Terrifier 2's on here.
I didn't mind Terrifier 2. Like, I know that you and Steve kind of went off on it, but
Well,
I
I
thought it
was
really,
shocked at Steve's. I was really shocked at his response to it. I still need to watch all of the Black Phone. I haven't had a chance to watch all of it. There's that damn bodies, bodies, bodies again.
I'm never going to watch that.
I don't think anybody needs to. I think Kelly said she liked it though. I couldn't get past the first part of it. Yeah, like just going back and looking at these lists, it, not too many of them stand out for me. Blissful's wanting to know, did he bring cereal? I guess she's talking about Steve. Probably when I was talking about he would never like buy anything at the movies prior to being with me. I used to go to the movies by myself sometimes too, but I definitely would get my popcorn and soft drink. TJ says it would also affect actors not going to conventions. That's what you said earlier.
Yeah.
Dirk says dry cereal in his pockets. Am I buzzing, Dirk? I mean, I was drinking a little whiskey earlier. Hey, Intellect. Dirk, you say Carpenter let me take his picture, but Raimi wouldn't. He had a sign up. See, I don't know if that was Raimi's decision because the same thing happened at the Lexington Comic Con too, or if that was his handler's decision, agent's decision, the convention's decision. I just don't know whose decision that was. Uncle Bill, can you shed any more light on that? Or are you in the dark, as much in the dark as me about that?
I have no idea. I'm assuming it probably was the convention's decision because they want to make money off of the photo ops to pay for his, guarantee. So I'm
Right.
assuming they didn't want anybody taking any pictures.
Now, when I met Carpenter, they didn't really want you take it. Wasn't it at Fright Night? Wasn't it they didn't want you taking any pose shots with him at his table? But what Steve did was he asked the guy, Carpenter's handler, I think, he said, "Can I just take a picture real quick of Carpenter when he's signing uh, her poster?" And they were like, "Yeah, that's fine. You can take one real quick." So that's what Steve did. I'm standing there, and you can see John Carpenter signing the poster. But so, Dirk, I'm curious. Did you? I think you did because I was thinking I saw the picture maybe. But did he let you take kind of like a pose shot, or was it just one of those quick and dirty things? Let's see. John says, "Yeah, it's sad. You got Patty Mullen and Linnea Quigley, both about 60, still hawking merch at those cons of them when they were like 25."
It's true.
Yeah, it is sad if you think about it. Men like you say, I respect the talent who go to conventions, although a few have an inflated sense of their value. I agree with that. I don't think Sam Raimi had an inflated sense of his value. I thought that Raimi was very humble, really. Did you feel the same way, Uncle Bill?
Yeah, and I thought that he was like reasonable for if you compare him to like other people and like kind
Mhm.
of if you compare him and what he's done to other people and what they've done and kind of like what he was charging versus what they were charging, yeah, he was great.
Oh, I gotta bring this up, and Steve will probably say, "What are you gonna go on and on about that? Are you pissed at me over it still?" Okay, so here's what happened. Now, I haven't told anybody on any streams that this happened, but since we were talking about Sam Raimi, I got to bring it up. So
Oh,
my poster that I took to get Sam Raimi to sign is not an original one sheet. It's not, but it was still important to me. It's an Evil Dead poster. Sam Raimi was on my bucket list of people to meet and get something signed. Um, so Steve, bless his heart, he put my poster in one of those poster bags with the backers and stuff like that. And he's had it sitting in front. So, I could admire it and admire Sam Raimi's signature and all that. Okay. So here's the deal. Like about a week ago, Steve ordered us a new bed. Okay. And there must have been some heavy ass hardware with this bed. I did not realize how heavy. And Uncle Bill's probably seeing where I'm going with this story. But anyway, Steve had the box with the pieces of the bed back here in this back room, right freaking beside where the posters are at. And I wasn't paying any attention. I was back in the living room or doing something. I don't know, watching something, tending to the dogs or something. And I heard Steve say, "Oh shit." That should have been a bad indicator.
yeah,
Um,
it should have been a
and I just didn't, I never dreamed that it would have anything to do with the poster. And then he said, "Sorry, girl," to one of the girl dogs. And I thought, well, something's fell because I heard a noise. And then he said, "Oh shit," and "Sorry, girl." And I thought, well, one of those pieces must have fell and hit one of the dogs by accident or something. And then He said, "I'm sorry, Dana. I'm sorry." And I said, "What?" And he said, "One of those pieces fell against your poster and tore it."
Oh, fuck.
And I shouldn't have got upset, but I did. Because I feel like I just got that sign, and I was like, "Steve, you got to be more careful with that." At first, I was really, really angry. I was like, if it had been one of your posters that you got signed, I think you would have been, upset. And he said, "Well, here, I'll try to fix it for you, Dana." And he did put some scotch tape on it. And thank God it didn't fall any lower. It's like right where the ground starts, where the hand is coming up through there and grabbing the person. That's about where it hit. And just kind of slid down and tore it like that. If it had went down any lower, it would have been right on Sam Raimi's autograph. And it just, I know it's just a poster, it's just a signature, it's just, it's always that, but it just turned my stomach thinking that if it had went any lower, it would have ruined that signature that I had on there.
Yeah, I probably would
And
have been. I probably would have been real pissed too, Dana. But honestly, though, like, was it not framed?
no, I mean, no, I hadn't even had a chance to even get. I got this poster in right before we went to Comic Con, so I haven't even had a chance to like get a frame or anything. But I think these pieces of that bed were so heavy that when it hit my poster, Steve has things stacked behind it. He has other posters, and he had a Death Proof, like a oversized lobby card from Death Proof, and it punctured that, and that thing was in a frame. I'm like, how in the hell did it do this? Did it just fall a certain way? And
Hmm.
but Steve said he wouldn't
Well,
do that anymore. So
yes, I guarantee if it had fucking fell on his copy of Infernal Rapist and crushed it all to pieces, he'd have been madder than a wet hen. He would fucking gone crazy.
oh,
Mm.
but he did tell me, bless his heart, he did tell me that he was actually planning on getting another poster for me and trying to figure out if Sam Raimi was going to be at another convention and paying somebody to go get his autograph again on another poster.
Well, that's good at least. I mean,
But I told him after I calmed down, after I had my little shit fit, I calmed down and said, "Nah, it's all right. You know, we'll put a little tape on it." And like from this far back, I can't even tell there's a tear in the poster. And it could have been a lot worse. It could have the autograph itself could have been ruined, or this could have been an original one sheet.
that's true. If that would have happened, then you'd really be shitting bricks because that thing is worth a fortune.
Mhm. But there's my tale of woe there for the night.
I
Uh,
mean, who hasn't had? If you've collected anything for a period of time, you've got a story like that because you can't just have all this stuff around and something not happen to it. It always does. So it's not an
yeah,
uncommon thing.
Steve's face was as white as a sheet. I think he thought I was really going to lay into him, um, which I just got mad for a short period of time, and then I was okay again. TJ
I
said the
feel.
Chiodos. Oh, go ahead, Uncle Bill.
I
Sorry.
was gonna say. I thought he was just gonna be like, "Shut up, Dana. I ripped your
No,
poster.
he was.
Shut the fuck up."
No, he was upset over it. TJ says the Chiodos couldn't work out deals and stuff to make another Killer Clowns flick. I guess. Milek says the Howling had 1,000 sequels and almost all of them terrible. I would
He's
agree
not
with
wrong.
that. Milek says Hellraiser was a great series with hits and misses, but better than The Howling. Yeah, I would have to agree that a lot of the Hellraiser sequels are better than the Howling sequels. Like when you got line dancing werewolves, there's something wrong there.
Or there's something right. I don't know which.
Could be. Um, John says, yeah, for sure. Hellraiser 1 to 2 is a good 1-2 punch. 3 is fun for what it is. Yeah, I think after 3, I was pretty much done with Hellraiser. I didn't see a need really to watch anymore. Let's see. John says the Howling one is great up until Dee Wallace turns into a kitty cat. LOL, but it's still a good one. Yeah, I don't know. That was kind of cheesy, I guess, and kind of lame.
Oh, I always liked it. Like,
So Howling 7 was the one with the line dancing, Darren says. I couldn't remember which one was. Milek says, I am a horror fan. I like almost anything werewolf, Bigfoot, etc. So it could be terrible to others and okay to me. That's a good point. Because if you're a fan of a certain type of movie, then everybody else and their mother might be saying what a lame movie it is, and you like it.
it's true.
Oh, Dirk, this is interesting. Nightmares in the Damaged Brain should have gotten a sequel. Wonder where they would have gone with that. Had made a sequel to that movie. I guess they would have carried on with the kid. Um, I would think that would be the most logical thing to do. John says My Bloody Valentine would have been a good sequel if they did it about 1984 or so. I could have seen that. Yeah, you can't wait too long for those sequels, or you will get something like Ravager, which is
Shit.
again just so
You have to
sad.
bring that movie up every time, Dana.
I
Oh,
can't help it. That movie, Phantasm Ravager, depressed me so much. Like, who thought it was a good idea to put Reggie Bannister's character in a nursing home with dementia? I
this
mean,
is an
who thought
awful
that
movie.
that was gonna be make a Phantasm sequel good? Milek says It Follows needs a sequel or 5 at least.
It was a great film, yeah.
I like It Follows.
Saw
John
that
says
at
I
the
did.
theater.
Oh, go
And
go ahead, Uncle Bill.
I was just gonna say I saw it at the theater and was completely like blown away by it because I had no idea what it was about or anything, and it was one of those ones that just caught you off guard. I was caught off guard by how good it was and how like well it was made and the music and just everything about it. Really,
Hmm. John does say, I do wish Tom Holland got to do a Fright Night 3, but he did the book at least. Yeah, anything would have been better than those remakes. I didn't know Pizzazz was in Mutilator too. Am I the only person that doesn't know that?
yeah.
Wow.
He's got because he's actually in the trailer. Like he's got a scene in the trailer.
Oh, okay. We'll have to check that trailer out. Darren says the ending to Nightmares in the Damaged Brain hints at a sequel with the little kid taking over the killing. That would have been awesome. Uh, Menelek thinks there's too many vampire movies. I find 99% uninteresting, although most others apparently do not. There's a few standout vampire movies for me.
Twilight.
Uh, Not Twilight.
It's Dana's favorite. She's likes Eclipse. That's our favorite one.
Mm-mm. TJ says he's sick of Vamps, LO, except What We Do in the Shadows. I don't ever think I watched What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh,
Oh, 1980s Betamax. That's a good idea. The Beast Within should have gotten a sequel. They could have done a sequel for Beast Within if they had made it soon after the first one. Oh, TJ says, what's one movie you could watch every week? Any genre.
hmm.
Every week. I could probably watch Summer School every week
It's a great movie.
just because that damn thing is so much fun and it's fresh in my mind because I just did that watch along for it.
Okay, so Clerks. I could watch Clerks every week and not get tired of it. Jaws is another one that
Mm.
I probably watch that movie like every single time it comes on television.
It was that. I wonder if you had the same experience with Jaws that I did because I've talked about this before. Jaws was a movie that over the years, me and my dad would drop anything we were doing and watch that movie. That was me and my dad's movie, kind of like Dawn of the Dead was with you and your dad.
Yeah.
Um, so I didn't know. Is that one that you watched with your dad
Oh yeah,
frequently?
that's like that was the very first time I ever saw it was because of him,
Hmm.
and he would tell stories about like when him and my mom went to see it, and in a theater, and when they went to see it, like there was vomit all over the floor, and that they
My
hadn't like cleaned up from the last showing or whatever, and like it was just I guess it added to the ambiance or whatever, but people were just getting sick because I guess the gore and everything was pretty intense for 1978. Yeah.
yeah,
'79, whenever it was in the theaters, to that time
that's.
period.
I mean, it it's gross, but it's interesting too. At
Yeah.
least your mom and dad had that interesting story to tell, didn't they?
That's not as interesting as the story she told me about like when they saw The Hills Have Eyes in the theater and she was pregnant with me. And
Mm.
it gets to the scene with Michael Berryman where he's like got the baby and he says
Oh yeah,
something like like a turkey or something like that. And mom says
yeah.
that she just like looked over at my dad and fucking like got up and left. She was like, I'm not staying here and watching this.
And she was pregnant with you at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Your poor mom. Oh man. Uh, yeah, Hills Have Eyes. You wouldn't. I don't think you would want to take your pregnant wife or girlfriend to that movie, especially. I get the feeling your mom is not a big horror fan.
Not at all. No, I mean she hates all that stuff.
I think your mom is. I've never met her in person, but just like watching the documentary, she just seems too sweet for horror movies. I don't think she has a mean bone in her body. She's one of those soft spoken type of people. Now, you're a kid. She may have yelled at you at some point, but I just couldn't
I
imagine
don't
her yelling,
I don't
raising her voice.
recall her ever yelling at all. No.
So she is one of those true, like, soft spoken, does it is not quick to anger type of people. So there's not too
Yeah.
many of those around. I think I knew one lady like that back in my hometown that
I'll
she
tell
never
you,
got angry at all.
I mean, I've never known her to really get that even upset, come to think of it. But I thought of another one though for the question, which is Sorcerer. William Freakin' Sorcerer is another one that I could watch probably like every week.
Ah,
And that's a relatively new find for me too. Like
mhm.
it's only been like maybe a year and a half since I saw that movie, something like that. And It never. I watch it like periodically. It never gets old.
And me and Steve, like, Death Proof is our movie, that, or our part of that particular Grindhouse movie. So I always, that one holds a special place in my heart. Roadhouse, the same thing, because Steve didn't introduce me to Roadhouse, but it was one of the first movies we watched together after we were a couple, and we did a commentary over it and all that. So that one, um,
Roadhouse.
gotta love Roadhouse. I don't know why I didn't buy that damn 4K when it came out.
Who the fuck needs a 4K Roadhouse though? That
Steve did.
Blu-ray is
Steve
fine.
did. He got it.
God,
What was it Uncle Bill said years ago? DVD's fine. He said the same thing about.
it still is. It still is, Dana.
Mm,
I DVD is fine, really.
I guess, yeah. In hindsight, it's
See,
fine.
if people would have just listened to me, look about how much money we would all saved, and there wouldn't be none of this bullshit
Back
going on
when,
now with
back
vinegar syndrome.
when, yeah, all these boutique labels, and we're spending all our entire paychecks on this
Bunch
stuff.
of idiots on YouTube. Like,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh, I lost my freaking mind in the past week or so. I don't know what possessed me to spend as much money as I did. It's a wonder I ain't broke. Thankfully, I'm getting paid again tomorrow. So, uh,
yeah, I've got a ton of shit coming in too. It's gonna be stupid. So, like I said, we should have just stuck with DVDs. We would have been. We could have bought everything for like $3.50 to $5 right
there
now.
you go. We could have
Man,
went to Big Lots and
yeah.
eventually got. Unseen says Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction, I could too. Yeah. John says, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'll die on the hill for TCM, the next generation. It's a shit pie, but I love it. TCM, the next generation is fun, and not all of it has to do with Matthew McConaughey or Renee Zellweger or any of that stuff. Although that's probably the craziest I've ever seen Matthew McConaughey in any movie ever. Um, Dazed and Confused, speaking of Matthew McConaughey, Dazed and Confused is another one I could watch every week.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Um, Speaking of that, though, did you watch the sequel
There was a
to that?
sequel?
Well, kind of, sort of, that Come Get Some that's supposed to take place in the 80s.
No.
Steve and I watched it, and we weren't too impressed with it.
Come get some.
I think that's what it was called. Did anybody else see it?
I think it was
Or
like
am I?
John Cena's saying for a while. There's somebody in WWF. Oh shit. It's an awful.
TJ says, I want to be cutting that movie out of my mind. I guess he's talking about TCM, the next generation.
No, he's talking about cutting class. That's when we
Oh,
were talking about
cutting
that.
class. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Um,
Everybody wants some. I remember that now. That's what somebody out here said.
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I didn't
everybody
watch
wants
that, but
it.
I remember the name of that now.
Yeah. See, I couldn't even remember the correct title of it. That's how little of an impression that movie made on me. Dirk says Matthew Mahogany is over the top, John. It's fucking hilarious. Ah, 1980s Batamax says Neon Maniac should have gotten a sequel.
That's a movie I haven't even thought about in a while, but that was a crazy. It was like a fucking Garbage Pail Kids movie for horror or something. That's what that movie reminds me of. You just had all these wild characters that came out of nowhere. It's just
Oh man,
crazy.
Matt's in here. I'm gonna answer that. I hope you're still in here, Matt, uh, because I got a story to tell about After Hours, that Criterion release. Um, Darren says, I would have liked to have seen Slaughter High get some sequels. The lead actor committed suicide, so sadly it didn't happen. Yeah, that I love Slaughter High. Now, a lot of people might say, oh God, that's so, that's lame, but I always found it fun. Now, the only thing Steve complains about with that movie is he said Harry Manfredini's music, especially at the beginning, that near, near, and he
Dun,
hates
dun,
that.
dun. Yeah. Do, do, do. Yeah. That's pretty awful.
Uh, Dirk picked X, I guess, for like the 2022 movie. Oh my God. Terror Train 2, TJ. That was not good. I can't believe I sat through that, but um so Matt, if you're still in here, you say who else got After Hours from Criterion? It's selling like crazy. It definitely is selling like crazy. And this is a movie that I had never seen, and I can't believe all the different people that's in it. Griffin Dunn, and I think Terry Garr's in this, and gosh, oh, one of the Arquettes. Uh, I don't know. I can't remember which one, but have you ever seen After Hours, Uncle Bill?
I've never seen that movie, huh?
It just sounds like so much fun. If you watch the trailer, Griffin Dunn is hilarious in it. Um, so yeah, I did notice it's selling like crazy, and I had it pre-ordered, but I guess they oversold. Um, and it's temporarily out of stock at Amazon right now, but they talk like they're going to get some more copies in. But I was like, the movie looks fun, but I don't know what it is about it that's causing it to just sell like crazy like that. John says, I got it from Amazon, but they didn't deliver.
Hmm.
Well, that sounds about right. Uh, Darren says, here's a different question. What's your least favorite Fulci, Argento, John Carpenter, George Romero, Wes Craven, and Toby Hooper films? Oh, Lord, Darren, that's one answer for each director. Probably, let's see, for me,
That's fucking
Fulci would
rough.
probably be that. Uh, Gosh, what was that thing? Door to Silence or something like that.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Yep.
Argento. Well, do you want to switch off? Do you want to talk about least favorite Fulci, and then I'll go with Argento, and we'll just go back and forth till we go through these.
It's hard for me to pick a least favorite Fulci, but like I did not like Manhattan Baby.
Oh,
Um
Manhattan Baby, yeah, that was so bad I've forgotten about it.
yeah,
And
I
we
kind of almost
talked
fell
about it.
asleep
You
during
and I
that.
talked about
Yeah,
it too.
that's not a favorite of mine. Um I like most of his films though, crazily enough. Um that and Enigma were probably the only two that like I
I'm
really
probably
didn't
the
like.
only person on the planet that enjoyed Enigma.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it or anything, but those two were just the ones that just stand out to me as being just kind of bleh.
Oh, there's another Fulci that um I think it was House of Sweet Horrors. I think that was the one I didn't much care for. I don't know if that was made for
House.
Italian.
Yeah, Steve's got one called the House of Sweet Ass over. I guarantee it.
Probably does somewhere in that collection of movies.
Sweet ass.
I'm trying to think about Argento stuff. Like a lot of the later Argento stuff, like, once he got out of his heyday, the golden age of Argento,
Yeah,
there were several actually. But Darren says one answer for each director. I'm trying to.
that's a tough one too, but it would definitely be something in like his later time period as well. So I'm thinking like I'm not gonna say Dracula 3D because I don't think that's his worst movie. Like I think he has several movies that are actually worse than.
People are not going to like this, but Inferno probably. If you
God
want
damn
to
it,
talk
Dana! You
about,
can't say Inferno.
yeah, I
Get on
can,
this
and I
stream with me and
will.
say Inferno. That no, I'm not going to allow that on here. It's your show, but I'm not going to allow you to do it.
I've already said it. It's already out there. Uh, okay, so if you're not gonna let me say that, what's your all time weakest Argento movie then, Uncle Bill?
Um, I think it's either Phantom of the Opera for me with Aja Argento, which was awful, um, or um, Giallo,
Mm.
the one with Adrian Brody.
Yeah, I don't think Steve likes that one either. But he likes anything with Aja Argento in it. He'd probably like the worst thing ever if it had her in it. But yeah, sorry, I'm gonna have to go back in the heyday of Argento and say Inferno, even though Uncle Bill doesn't want me to say that. John Carpenter. Let's see here. Have you got one in mind while I'm still thinking about John Carpenter?
For Carpenter, that's easy. Ghost of Mars.
That's kind of what I was leaning towards, because the other stuff I'm looking at, I'm like, yeah. What about Dark Star that he did in '74?
That one, I mean, you can kind of let that one
Yeah, that one's.
slide because the time period and everything. But hell, by the time he made Ghost of Mars, like he should know. Maybe even though Escape from L.A. too, because I fucking hate Escape from L.A. That movie is
Do you
god awful.
really?
God, good lord, Dana, there ain't no way to like that movie. It's got some of the worst effects and shit in it. Like it's just absolutely horrible. The surfing and the basketball and fucking. I'm just having PTSD even thinking about that movie right now.
Well, I think I'm going to stick with Ghost of Mars. There. Let's see.
Romero.
George Romero. It's probably going to have to be one of the later
Yeah,
Dead films for me.
I know what it is. For me, it's Survival of the Dead. That's like the worst one.
I don't think I even watched that one, so I guess I can't really speak to that one if I haven't seen it, right? So what was the one right before Survival of the Dead? Was that
Diary of the Dead, which
I
is
hated Diary of the Dead, and I hate to say this because I love George Romero's stuff so much, but yeah, I think I'm probably gonna go with that one. And it might be a tie for me. That with Bruiser. I never did like Bruiser. I tried to watch that thing, and it for me it did, and maybe Uncle Bill can say, "Oh well, here's where you're wrong," but it didn't feel like a George Romero movie to me. That
no.
movie
I
did.
mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It doesn't feel like a Romero movie, really. But there's something about it where I still think it has like it's grown on me over the years too. Because I hated it at first because it wasn't like a George Romero film, but there's something about it nowadays where just to me, just the basic plot of the movie is makes it kind of worthwhile. It's not a
Hmm.
great movie by any stretch, but I enjoy it.
So, Toby Hooper. This is going to be kind of hard to pin down just one because Here's the thing about Toby Hooper. He had a lot of great films, but then he had some shitty films too. So, um, but I think I'm going to have to go with Toolbox Murders from '04. To me, that was the
Yeah, that's pretty bad too.
biggest nonsensical piece of shit. And I hate to say that about Toby Hooper because I love that guy. He's the guy that did Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But I did not get that Toolbox Murders at all. And I didn't really understand if it was trying to be a remake of the original Toolbox Murders or if it was trying to be a sequel or it was not trying to be anything at all related to that. It had that freaking coffin baby in it, and I don't know. You got anything to add about Toolbox Murders?
No, other than only thing I remember about that movie is I saw it one time. Sherry Moon Zombie's in it. She dies like at the very beginning, and that's all I
Oh, that's
remember about it.
right. Yeah. I had forgotten about that till you said that.
The one that I hate is My Soul to Take, though, from Craven,
I don't think I even watched that one.
because that's the one we got robbed on,
Yeah.
and that's also a horrible ass movie.
Oh, that's awful because I missed Wes Craven in the thing. Okay. Gonna have to. Well, I can't say my soda tape because I didn't see that one. I'm guessing that's Uncle Bill's pig. Why did somebody ask if The Exorcist is a Wes Craven movie? What the
Who the
hell?
fuck asked that?
It's just like I was going on Google to look up Wes Craven films, and somebody had
Oh,
asked that. I guess. Um, let's see.
Mortuary. Uh, yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's the one that has Denise Crosby in it. I think.
you gotta say it like
Toby Hooper's
oh,
Mortuary.
oh Fred Gwynn. Ah, like I don't know. I didn't much care for Cursed from Craven. And I didn't even watch Vampire in Brooklyn.
That's awful. I mean
It's awful.
it really is, but I mean, I don't think that's his worst, honestly. It's got like a couple of decent things in it.
You know, he did
Chiller.
something called 19 or something in 1975 called The Fireworks Woman.
No,
I don't even know what that is. Um,
I haven't
but
heard of that one.
yeah, and I think we said this earlier too that if any director has been around long enough, they're going to have some stinkers in there.
I mean, the middle part of his career, of Toby Hooper's career, was not great. I
Mm-mm.
mean, he made some decent um stuff in like the mid '80s, but
Yeah.
it was all very like, I don't know, crazy and cheap, and it just a lot of it didn't work that well. Invaders from Mars, and you know, the Funhouse was okay. Um, a lot of that stuff that he did, I don't know, Life Force, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can't complain about Life Force just for one particular reason, but
Well, I know what reason that is.
I mean, the movie itself is a goddamn mess, though.
um, Back to the after hours thing. Matt says, "Hey, Blissful and Movie Junkie John, yeah, buddy, it looks sold out on Amazon, both the blue and the 4K. Now, see, I want the 4K, and the Blu-ray was still available like the other day, but I guess they're both sold out now. So Matt got the blue because it was the only thing in stock. Uh, TJ says the small short Laura hasn't slept is 10 times better than the feature, in my opinion. I need to check that out. Oh, Dirk says Barnes and Noble has After Hours still 4K too.
Hmm.
Maybe I should make Steve take me to Barnes and Noble this weekend. I'll get on their site and see if the one here in Louisville has got it, and I could always have them pull it and hold it for me, and I'll go and pick it up. So I might go that route, and then just cancel my order from Amazon if I can get it that way. Hey, Coco. Coco says, I just got in, and on the way home, I heard that song Lips of an Angel. You guys a fan of that little ditty? I don't even know if I know that song, unfortunately. Do you know it?
Never heard of it.
Okay. I'm going to have to look it up on YouTube or something, I guess. Sorry about that, Coco. I just lost on that one. Oh, Turk says, I drove 60 miles to see Terrifier 2. It was a great theatrical experience. Coco says, you just drove 60 miles to see that? That's good. I drove that to see 28 days later. Worth it, even though I missed about the first 5 minutes. Dirk says, no selfie with Carpenter, but I took his picture, so that was cool. I'm not sure what face you were making, Uncle Bill, but Coco
I think it's
says,
when you're talking about Steve.
probably was. Okay, John says, what classic car films do people praise but you both hate? That's kind of hard
Yeah,
because
because there's
a
not a lot
lot
of
of classic stuff I really like.
classic horror films.
That
I have
one's
no
really
idea.
hard, John.
Yeah, there's just people when people ask that question, I'm just like I can find a lot of stuff to like about like most of the classic horror films. There's
Mhm.
not one that I just
I mean, even the silent stuff like Nosferatu and stuff. I remember watching that when Joe Bob showed it on the last drive-in. I was like, this film is amazing. And you don't have any dialogue. I mean, not spoken dialogue.
yeah.
But it just works. So yeah, I don't know. But I will, since I can't answer that, and Uncle Bill's gonna blow his stack here because I've said this before, and he's like, "How? Why can somebody say this?" So let's talk about Steve again. Night of the Living Dead, the original Night of the
Let's
Living
do.
Dead. Steve hates that movie, and
That
you
just
know,
tells you everything you need to know about Steve, like right there.
that's dangerous talk right there when you say you hate Night of the Living Dead. That's like saying you hate Citizen Kane or something like that. You know?
I mean, that's goddamn ridiculous. Watching the Infernal Rapist and shit like that, and he's like, I
And
hate Not
then
Living
putting
Dead.
down
Shut up,
what the
Steve.
greatest zombie movies ever made.
Jesus
Oh
Christ.
man, oh, poor George Romero. He's rolling over in his grave now. Uh, Dirk says, I think Damien Leone is alone out of new slasher films. Uh, every horror collector is wincing right now. Darren, was that in response to me saying what happened to my Evil Dead poster? I think it was because Blissful said, "Oh no, Dana." And Turk says, "I would have been madder than all get out." I
Madder than a
was
wet
at
hen.
first. TJ says, what would be the cutoff age for actors or musicians doing conventions and concerts? Grace Slick once said all rock and rollers over the age of 50 look stupid and should retire.
I don't think any of them like.
Well, okay. Well, I'll say this. I went to see Rod Stewart in concert a few years back. And man, I don't care what anybody says, Rod Stewart still got it as far as singing and performing and
Rod
all
the Cod.
that. Oh my goodness. Look who's here. Good old CK's here.
Good old
CK.
Fuck. Call me good old CK. I don't ever get these invites to come in here today. And I always see Uncle Bill's old girly looking ass coming in here and talking. And people sick to death listening to him. He did 17 Vinegar Syndrome shows last week.
Oh, that's true.
He still looks like he's under the age 18.
Buddy, fuck you. With your fucking Fred Durst hat on. You go to hell.
I don't even know who Fred Durst is. He can go to hell and you can too.
Oh. Okay, well, the fun's going to start now because CK's in here.
I don't know about that. I'm pissed off, Dana. I didn't get. I asked for I was like, you don't ever invite me in here. You ain't said nothing for 20 minutes. When did I post that message? You ain't even got to it yet, too.
I'm sorry. We've had
She's all the way back.
People in here.
Ain't gonna be no fun in here tonight. We're gonna get serious. I'm gonna be the next person that'll be blocked and banned on Dana's channel because I'm gonna go off.
He's mad. You tell he's madder than hell.
I'm mad now.
Well, you know what you need to do? I'm going to start bringing my phone back.
Well, I need to stick in my mouth and smile. You remember that?
No, you need to message me on my phone and say, hey, Dana, send me that damn link.
I would message you, but you never messaged me back.
Well, from here on out,
you don't give a damn about him,
you don't care, Dana, and it hurts my feelings.
Oh, I care about you. I care about you so much. I'm going to be on that damn Jaws fan commentary with you tomorrow night.
Maybe I won't send you the link, Dana, just to get you back.
You would do that to me?
Oh, yeah, easily. Jay Real's going to be on there. He's going to have his Kindle Fire ready, too.
Oh, God.
Oh, Lord. Look out now. Yeah, clear your screens.
He cleans it with an alcohol wipe every night. So he said you could eat dinner on it if you wanted to. Which,
I like that. Speaking of that, I saw that little survey that was up on the Facebook page asking which would you rather touch, barehanded or something,
oh yeah, didn't Rob put that up or something, didn't he?
I think so. And somebody added Steve's remote control to that list of things. So,
oh God,
poor old Steve. I'll send Steve a message sometimes.
Steve, my ass, he almost destroyed my Evil Dead poster that was signed.
Almost. What stopped him from completely destroying it? You know, when he gets in those fits of rage, he's like a little toddler that gets his toy taken away.
Oh, yeah. He did destroy a fan, his floor fan.
I asked Steve, the one day we didn't do the Vinegar Syndrome stream, I asked Steve if he would do it, and he's like, no, man, I can't. My back's bothering.
What the fuck? Was complaining about his back today.
I can't get in the chair and sit for 30 minutes. I can't do it.
That's like, yeah. No, I'm going to
some strenuous exercise.
You know what he asked me today? He says, are you going to want to go anywhere this weekend? And I said, I don't have to. You know,
my back's killing me. Oh, man.
And he said, I'll take you. You need to go to Walmart or whatever. And I don't know. I don't never know whether to trust what he says sometimes or
Y'all
not.
have Save-A-Lots in Louisville.
We got Aldi's.
Oh, I was going to say, you got to Save-A-Lot and get you some Mountain Holler, by God.
Money, what the fuck are you fucking with over? You got?
I'm packaging up shit
shove
that
up
I sold on eBay, boys. That's what I'm doing. I'm a
Oh,
multitasker. See, I've got more stuff that I got to package up, but I ain't got no boxes that'll fit it because I got some nerd that fucking got 2 Pokemon tapes off of me. And then I've had this damn thing forever, and they're probably going to get it graded now, boys. This is a sealed copy of Herbie Goes Banana.
all
It was
right.
Pat
Oh, that's
Patterson's
a
favorite
Disney.
Herbie movie. Yeah. Still sealed, and you can save $3 when you buy 2 VHS tapes. Expired December the 31st, 2000, but I'm sure Disney would still, they would honor
They'll honor that right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Quiet, Roxy, you little bitch.
Dirk says, I think Raimi is going to be busy for a couple of years, but he'll be back at cons.
What in the hell's he going to be doing?
I don't know, unless he's doing more like.
Is he going to do some more multiverses of madness or whatever the hell it is?
I did actually like that one, though.
I never want to see any of those movies.
No.
If I see Marvel in the front of it, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Mm-mm.
Oh, I'm seeing your message there. Who's this asshole you have on here, Dana?
Yeah, and you ignored me, Dana, for like over an hour. It hurt my feelings.
I was ignoring everybody. I haven't gotten all these messages.
Well, everybody else don't matter. I'm the one that matters. Dana, I've been sick this past week and everything. You're going to ignore me like that. That's a shame.
He shit his pants.
What happened to you?
I shit my pants. If you want to hear the details, you got to go over to deadpitonpatreon.com or become a YouTube member, and you can hear it all in great detail. I went into it in graphic detail too. I described the texture and weight of the poop and puke and everything.
Oh man. So did you get a virus or what?
No, I think it was, I've started taking this, it's called Wegovy. It's like a weight loss shot, and you got to watch what you eat. So
yeah,
I didn't watch what I ate that day, and it fucking like, I'm never eating Long John Silver's again.
Oh God, that's probably the worst thing you could have ate after that.
Evidently, yeah. And then
and
French
I
fries.
love Long John Silver's. Yeah.
I'm saying farewell to French fries from now on. It's either a soup or baked potato or something like that. Fucking French fries.
To French fries. Yeah.
TJ's wanting to know where's the Trick or Treat sequel. I don't know, TJ.
Wait, which one?
Last fall, I guess he's talking about Michael Dougherty's Trick or Treat. He said in the Q&A that they're still, they've been working on it behind the scenes. I don't know. I think Legendary Pictures, he said, is the one that is supposedly doing it. So it's not dead in the water, at least as of last year, from what I heard. So there's still a chance. There's still hope.
So we were talking about Steve, though, and how like Steve dropped a fucking giant piece of furniture on Dana's poster and then
punched a hole in it.
Big thing. Then he was like, "Fuck you, Dana." That's what you get.
No, thankfully he didn't say that, or I would have been really pissed.
That's all your fault, Dana.
Shit, yeah, I wasn't anywhere near it, so it wasn't my fault.
We're going to try to break the record last night that you and TJ, you did what, about a 17-hour stream last night?
It was a little over 4 hours, talking about 10 episodes of Friday the 13th, the series.
How long were the episodes of Friday the 13th? Were they half an hour or an hour?
No, they were 45 minutes.
I was going to say, it looked more like a watch along to me. You could have watched them and commented on them or something. And if I was TJ, my hands would have been burning the fuck up by that point too with them damn gloves.
That's part of his. That's part of his shtick there.
It's a summertime, TJ. You don't need no damn gloves, or at least switch them out to some of them white Madonna gloves. It's a little bit more airy. You can air your hands.
Oh my goodness!
I love you, TJ. It's called the roast. It's kind of what I do.
That's what we should do. We should have a series of like roasts where CK gets to roast somebody like.
Fuck, that's been the last 20 years of my life. We don't need to do that anymore.
Well, you could stay out of it, Uncle Bill. He'll roast some.
You need to leave me the fuck out of it.
See, the lace is breathable fabric, TJ. You need to mix it up a little bit. You know, it's still stylish.
So TJ's wanting to know favorite TV horror, pre-streaming movies. I like Stranger in Our House by Craven. Don't Go to Sleep. Don't Go to Sleep. I've talked about that one a ton, and it doesn't quite hold up as well now, but it's still a pretty creepy made-for-TV film. Have both of y'all seen Don't Go to Sleep?
I don't know if I've seen that one or not.
I get them mixed up because there were so many in like the 70s, and we've reviewed a ton of them over the years. I like the crawl space one from back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Initiation of Sarah was one that I watched not too long ago. They did a Blu-ray of that one, was pretty good. Summer Fear's a TV movie, wasn't it? That was a Wes Craven as well.
Yeah. Invitation to Hell was too.
Invitation to Hell.
Salem's Lot was a TV movie.
Yeah.
Don't Be Afraid of the Dark is good though. That's a good one.
That one I don't think I've seen.
Bad Ronald, boys. Bad Ronald.
Bad Ronald's
a good one.
I haven't watched those in a long time, but I like all that stuff. Very rarely is there a 70s, horror TV movie that I don't like.
Yeah, I could probably, if I thought about it long enough, I could come up with a ton more. But yeah, the Don't Go to Sleep was one that stuck with me for a long time. I mean, when I was a kid, that movie actually scared me because it was all about.
Where can you see that at, Dane? Is it on like a DVD or?
The last time I saw a physical copy of that movie was, God, it's been years, and it was a VHS copy of that movie. But I think you can watch it on YouTube.
So that's one that hasn't had. Has it had any sort of official like remaster or anything, or no?
Not that I know of. I wish it would, but being a TV movie like it was, I don't know if they'll ever do that with it.
What about Trilogy of Terror too, Bulls? We forget about
Trilogy of Terror. Oh my gosh, yeah. And even if you don't like the other stories, the Zuni fetish doll story makes up for any weaknesses that could be anywhere else in it.
You know what else was a TV movie? Was It. The original It.
Yeah, I remember watching that first run when it came out. That freaked me out, man. Yeah, that's one of those movies when the first time that you see it, like it sticks with you for a long freaking time, like certain scenes.
Yep.
1980s Betamax is saying, did you watch the movie The Unseen? I have seen the Unseen.
Yeah.
It's been a while though.
Danny Steinman. That was the other Danny Steinman movie.
Yeah, right? That's right. Which, if you look at The Unseen, basically that's what Barbarian was doing. It was ripping off The Unseen. I mean, just with like a little bit of a twist.
Wasn't Ringo Starr's wife starring in that? What was her name?
Barbara Bach.
Yeah, Barbara Bach.
Yeah, she's in that.
Scratch says Steve prefers the 30th anniversary of Night of the Living Dead. I don't think he likes any version of Night of the Living Dead.
Steve doesn't like Night of the Living Dead, the original. If that tells you anything about Steve.
He doesn't like nothing, Steve doesn't. Except sleep.
Darren says Steve hates Night of the Living Dead, but loves Cheerleaders Wild Weekend. Wasn't Cheerleaders Wild Weekend the didn't Steve show that to you at Darkwood, CK, or
probably? I don't. I kind of remember him trying to show me something that was like
trying to show it to you.
Awful. But that was. I don't have the memory like you do, Danny. You remember every damn thing. Like,
I don't know. My memory's not as good as it used
I
to
can't
be.
remember last week.
Steve can't remember 2 seconds ago. So he's really bad because I'll say, remember what you said about such and such? And no, I don't remember, Dana. I don't know if that's just his tactic to keep from getting in trouble with me. As I say,
Probably.
he doesn't remember.
He just doesn't want to strain his brain. That's what it is.
Matt says, Steve, can we go to Barnes and Noble for the Criterion sale? Shut up.
Shut up. Shut your mouth.
I'm going to tell him that's where you can take me this weekend. You can take me to Barnes and Noble so I can get after hours on 4K.
Get you a frappe too. You can get them at Barnes and
You'll
Noble.
have to.
There you go.
You have to wheel him out in one of them fucking like Hannibal Lecter dollies or something where his back's all fucked up. Take him around the store and
I'm just going to put him in one of those scooters. Here you go, Steve.
get rid of him a rascal scooter.
TJ says, favorite Rambo Raph rant, Halloween Ends, and Corey rant tops on my list. I don't know. Rambo has got too many good ones. Anytime he's ranting about something, it's great.
Yeah, it's a lot of material to try to go through there. Years and decades, actually. He's been around for a while. I've got something for you, though. So I bought a bunch of like random VHS tapes tonight. Mm-hmm. And anything horror related, like if it's from the 80s and 90s, I'll pick it up. I picked up The Haunting, the remake, with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Owen Wilson and Liam Neeson and all that. But the tape, I was intrigued, right? I was thinking it was porn. It was the wrong tape in there. It wasn't The Haunting. It just said Sweeney on it. And I was like, holy shit, what porn stars are named Sweeney? Because it looked like an old tape. It could have been some of that vintage stuff, you know.
I'd be afraid of that.
Well, it could be that or a snuff film. I mean,
that'd be great.
But no, what it was, it's from 1986. And I don't know if this is rare now or they maybe released the DVD of it or whatever. The Arts and Entertainment Network. That's what A&E was called back then. It was like a televised stage play of Sweeney Todd, the barber of Fleet Street or whatever, with Angela Lansbury in it. And I was like, what the fuck is this shit? And I've been watching it in here. I recently found one of those small TVs that has a VCR in it, right? So this is from like 86. This is when it was broadcast. So I don't know how rare this is or what, but it's kind of interesting. It has the commercials and everything in it.
Fuck?
You know, I've never talking about the wrong videos being in a case. I think I've told this story before, but I gotta tell it again. Back when I was working for the public library system, not Louisville's humongous system, but the small public library back home, I had donated a bunch of horror VHS, and they kind of like pick through them and pick the ones they thought might actually get checked out by somebody. Ooh, gremlins. And so Return to Horror High was one that I donated.
What's wrong with you, Dana?
I'm twisted.
That had freaking Maureen McCormick in it. She was a damn good looking woman around that time frame too.
Who's the woman that's married to Ben Stiller that looks exactly like her, by the way?
Oh, Christine Taylor.
Yeah, like that's insane, man.
But so anyway, we had I think that Whispers movie that's about the elephant. Isn't that a Disney movie? Or didn't Disney put it out?
I've never seen it. I don't know.
But anyway, there was a clamshell sort of like case that the elephant kids movie was in, or family movie, whatever you want to call it. So I'm guessing somebody must have checked out.
Was it Babar? You remember Babar?
No, I remember.
That shit was on like every day before I went to school.
I love Babar.
Every
Whatever,
day.
Babar.
Yeah.
That was my shit, man.
So somebody must have checked out both Return to Horror High and Whispers at one point in time. So when they came back, somebody, and it wasn't me, whoever checked them in didn't check to make sure the right movie was in the right case.
Them dumb asses, they should have known better now.
So Whispers got Return to Horror High in the case and went downstairs in the children's department. So this lady that came in with her two granddaughters quite frequently, they thought they were checking out Whispers. And she was talking about being married in a wet hen. She was mad at us when she brought that thing back and slammed it down on the circulation desk.
I want to talk to your manager.
But she said, I put this movie in for my granddaughters, and then I left the room, and two or 3 seconds later, she heard them screaming, Grandma, somebody got their head cut off on this movie. And
that's good for you. Yeah, kind of thing every now and then. Goddamn.
That's some heartwarming shit.
You get to see some titties and some heads rolling.
Oh, yeah, you see
that.
I don't really even like that. That movie is not, it's okay. That's never one that I ever want to say, hey, let's go watch that again.
So I'm not the only one that's donated horror movies to the local library. Coco's evidently done it too.
I donate to the Goodwill. I don't trust libraries, Dana. Sorry.
Yeah, you never know what happens with the library.
Do you think
I don't currently work for a library. I'm working for orthodontists.
You think you'd still be working as a library in your hometown if you hadn't met Steve?
Oh, I guarantee it. I can pretty much guarantee it. I wouldn't have never, and this is no offense to Steve, but I would have never made my way to Louisville to live.
Nobody would, Dana. It's not a place that anybody should go.
The annoying thing about Louisville is the traffic. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, Louisville has some of the best Goodwills in the whole state. But you can't get back and forth to them. You can go to maybe 3 a day because that fucking traffic's so bad.
Yeah.
I hate driving in Louisville. It's like one of my least favorite
I don't drive in Louisville. I make Sarah drive.
Or Sarah.
I bet Sarah's like killer driving places like that.
She is. Sarah will drive anywhere, man. We drove through downtown Atlanta last year. And you talk about...
yeah.
That makes Louisville look like freaking Prestonsburg.
Yeah. Yeah. When we went to Disney, I had to drive through... I had to drive through Orlando, but before that, I had to drive through... I don't remember if it was Atlanta or if it was like one of the bigger cities in Georgia. And it was fucking just terrifying.
Though, in a small town and stuff, I mean, it's nothing to really... I didn't drive for the longest time at all.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, I still don't drive like in real big cities and stuff just because of my nerves, but it ain't no big deal. It's like anything else once you get used to it, You ought to go try for your license, Dana. It's never too late.
People keep telling me that because they tell me, for one thing, it'll give me so much independence.
Yeah.
And not necessarily independence
get the hell away from Steve.
But,
you get away from Steve whenever you want.
Uncle Bill, you said that. I didn't. So if he goes back and watches this, I did not say a word.
He ain't gonna watch this thing. I've got a feeling that Steve don't. I don't know what in the hell he looks at work, but he watches Netflix or something all damn day.
Oh yeah,
I think what he does is he watches that Cyrex guy. Does anybody know what Cyrex is? Who that guy is?
Cyrus in the WWF back in the day. I know him.
Now, this is some weird guy that looks like he's on his deathbed, and people keep going to his house or his grandmother's house and like having signs and flyers saying he's a pedophile, and he came out and threatened a guy with a bat, and another guy. Go ahead.
I mean, that just sounds like a bunch of bullshit Steve would like. I mean, God.
Well, he watches King Cobra too, which King Cobra is entertaining. If you look him up on YouTube, he's pretty.
I don't know who it is. Let like when you're watching YouTube though, and I watch it on my phone mainly at work, like I don't really watch a lot of horror stuff. I just don't. Like it's usually just some other random shit like wrestling related or cooking stuff. Me and Sarah have been talking about starting like a small business on a certain thing, so I've been looking up stuff on
that's
it.
cool.
What about you all? What kind of shit do you watch on YouTube?
There is you would probably actually like this too. I just stumbled across like this YouTube page, and that's the good thing about YouTube. Like you constantly are finding like these smaller channels that have like really killer stuff on it. But they've got a ton of true crime and like lost
plundering
media
outside. Yeah, I like the lost media stuff.
Yeah,
and I find like a lot of low budget slasher TV stuff, things like that, horror related that I can watch. And it's like some of these people, like Kings of Horror is one channel where they have so much horror stuff on there. You could go down a rabbit hole on that channel.
You know, one of our buddies helps run that channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We've been talking about doing something with him forever, but I don't. Which would be good because they've got like, what is it, 2 million subscribers or something like that.
It's a lot.
So anything would help, because whenever I get on there, boys, you know what I want to do? Into the Pit, the shocking story of deadpit.com.
Yep.
Actually, right now, anybody's checking it out, it's for sale on Grindhouse Video. Or you can get it at wholesale price on Patreon. Deadpit on Patreon. So
buy it now.
I want to do that when there's 2 million people watching and sell all them copies that I've got left.
How many copies do you have left?
It's a little under 450. It's probably like closer to 400 actually at this point. I don't know.
You know, this is probably gonna sound bad, and I'm kind of ashamed of it because this documentary is about you guys. But the only thing I have is the work print.
God damn it, Dana, buy the regular version.
I know.
This is a different cut of the movie, actually. And full screen this, Dana, so people will look at this artwork. You know how to do that?
I don't know if I can.
Anyway,
how do you do that, CK?
I think it's just like the solo button on my screen. It should say solo on it.
Oh, hold on here. Oh, solo layout. There we go.
So this artwork right here, if people don't know, Phil Roberts did this artwork, who also did the Bad News Bears artwork, Detroit Rock City. There was a new movie with Woody Harrelson this year that he did, I think, called, I can't remember the damn name of it. But
yeah.
His thing is this caricature artwork. So this particular edition here is the only time you'll ever see this, because they signed some sort of deal with him. So they could only produce so many copies, and the copies that we have left are it. So the artwork, which we do have, I have posters of it and everything, can't do nothing with it. Can't sell it. Can't reuse it. Didn't even want us to scan this. So once this is gone,
it's gone for good.
It's gone. If somebody was to ever pick it up again, which probably never happened, it would have a different art on it.
You showed me something new, CK, so thank you. I guess I didn't ever pay attention to those 3 little dots that come up when you hover.
We learn something new every day, Dana.
Yeah.
We all do.
You know what else you should pay attention to, though, Dana? And also those in the chat right now. Pay attention to grindhousevideo.com, where you can go over and get into the pit. It's a shocking
Less
story.
than half of the copies this last go around is left, I think. Last I've seen.
Do y'all get a cut from the ones from Grindhouse, or?
Yes, of course.
You should.
They got them from us, so
I give them to them for free. Fuck them.
We may have already got our cut, Dana. But the thing is with me, and this is why I haven't put it on the site for sale. It's only on Patreon. Is this way we've got copies on their site, we've got copies in their store. So new people can maybe discover and we're trying to get them in other stores. So if anybody knows anybody, holler at your boys. And because this is how I'd rather sell it. I'd rather sell a store 20 copies at a time or something like that. Right. And that way it helps us out too.
Coco, I was like that when I got my bombastic bundle. I remember doing an unboxing for that sucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dirk brings up a good thing until the Blu-ray release. You think it'll ever see a Blu-ray release?
Yeah, Blu-ray release this movie. Guarantee that.
Never say never, because like Replicator is coming out on Blu-ray. So they're putting a lot of this was technically shot on video, I think, or like DV tape. So I'm not sure you could even upscale it or whatever, but it could still come on Blu-ray. It don't matter nowadays.
That's right. That movie just keeps bringing us in fans that have never heard about us before, though. So I'm always thankful.
I'm sorry, I have to laugh every time.
It does. We just all kinds of people come up.
That's how everybody found out about Dead Pit.
Yeah,
that movie.
They're like, goddamn! If I hadn't seen that End of the Pit, I wouldn't know who you guys were.
Forget the people that ran across you guys by accident. You guys have heard me tell the story of how I discovered you, right?
Probably, but like I said, I can't remember nothing.
Well, how I discovered you guys, I'll tell the story real quick. Is I used to frequent IMDb a lot more than I do now. And I was reading through reviews for, I don't remember what the horror movie was, but I was reading reviews for it. And somebody, I wish I could remember who it was, had written a review. And at the bottom of their review, they said, if I'm not on IMDb, I'm listening to Dead Pit. And they had the website address. And I just got curious and I clicked on it. And I was like, oh, this is cool. This is a horror radio show. And then I found out you guys were from Kentucky. And I was like, oh, this is even cooler. I didn't even know anybody in Kentucky was doing anything like this. So I kind of ran across you guys by chance, pretty much.
Yeah, we were like not only shilling the stuff ourselves everywhere, like on every message board that you remember back in the day on message boards, you could put like a footer with a logo and a link and everything. So I did that on everything. And then we started getting people that were big, like the early fans of our show. They were like a street team or something. So they'd put stuff out there. Just word of mouth, bulls. That's how because we didn't. Well, here's the funny thing. We have never, ever, ever paid for advertising on anything. We always used to like send Rue Morgue and Whorehound stuff. I was like, can you send us a packet so we can see your ad rates and stuff? And they'd send us a packet with free magazines and everything. And we saw how much they're like, they must be out of their damn mind, bulls. They think we're going to pay fucking $1,000.
Really? They were asking that?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy amount of money.
The full page ad's $1,000, I think, back in the day.
And that would got us absolutely nowhere.
We totally DO'd them. We said, no.
Could you see me back when I was doing my fanzine asking people, okay, it'd be $50 for a full page ad in here.
Well, and here's the thing too, and people don't realize this, and there's a few people that are just cheap assholes that don't ever want to fucking support us at all. But the thing is we really, for years and years and years, aside from the selling of the t-shirts, and the commentaries and stuff, we never made a dime off of that show, hardly. Conventions, when we went to conventions, we would sell some stuff here and there. So, if we would have had Patreon back in the day or something like that, that would have helped fund everything, it would have been a different game, man. We maybe could have paid $1,000 to Rue Morgan, got an ad, and I doubt it, but I mean, more of a chance than it was in like 2008 or whatever.
Steve still laughs at me for me buying that KFC bucket that you guys signed. I still got
It's
that
collector's
damn
item,
thing,
Dana.
though.
It is
collector's item.
Are there any still around?
What, KFC buckets? There's all I can go to KFC.
Well, I mean, like that you guys actually had that you signed.
No, we would do those on demand. It was manufactured on demand.
You wouldn't just, sign.
We signed a shit ton of those, though. I do remember signing a bunch of like KFC
I would
buckets.
say we sold not a ton of them, probably 15, 20, something like that.
But
it costs more to ship, I think.
That was the problem. Yeah,
they were crazy high to ship just because of how big the box had to be.
I was buying everything just about from you guys at that point in time. My mom thought I'd flipped my lid. She kept asking me questions about you guys. It was like, who are these guys? And then she would get irritated, like late at night. I'd be in the when we would do those Saturday night deals and stuff, and she would hear everybody talking and stuff like that. She'd be like, "Dana, it's late. Aren't you going to get off of there?" And I'd be wanting to stay in there all night just talking to everybody, and the crazy stuff that would happen. CK probably doesn't remember, but those times that he had Steve on there with him because Uncle Bill was probably taking a test or something and couldn't be on there, or he was busy otherwise.
He's busy playing with his bird that night.
I don't know about that. But the time that y'all had the wrestling figures and CK, you were drawing on the screen and stuff like that.
I don't remember it at all. I swear to God, no memory of that at all.
He's trying to block it out.
Though, there is a couple of more clips from Saturday Nightmares that I did kind of unearth buried deep within the YouTube page. So, and I've got a couple on the Patreon page, so I'll probably be busting those out at some point soon. And we've talked about doing a Saturday Nightmares old school style.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Even putting like the Blog TV logo on there and everything, try to make it feel like 2010 or whatever.
Blog TV.
I think it'd be pretty killer.
I think so too. I remember, you guys probably don't remember this either, but I remember. Of course, this was back in Steve's heavy drinking days. One night he was on there, and
it's back when we liked Steve too.
CK was still going strong, and
Steve needs to go back to drinking, boys.
I don't know how many beers Steve had at that point, but Steve had his laptop and he was on there, and then slowly, if you were watching, you'd see Steve slowly slide out of frame. And then I can't remember who asked, but somebody said, "Where's Steve?" And I think then CK looked over and like, "Where is he?" And I guess he had just passed out and went to sleep. He just like that, just like a thermometer.
Steve was bad back in the day too. Because he was a lonely guy too, obviously. He lived by himself for years and years and years. So he would be like one of those drunk guys that would just fucking call you at the middle of the night. It could be 1 o'clock in the morning.
He would do that. He would do that kind of stuff when we first got together. He would be drinking, and then he'd just want to start calling and chatting with people and doing all this stuff. And I was like, "Steve, it's late." "Oh, it'll be all right," and he just
Dana
thought, he become grandpa whenever he got off the booze. Go to bed at 4 o'clock in the day.
Right before we started dating, he had been, I don't know how much he had been drinking, but it was New Year's Eve, and he kept wanting me to pick up the phone, and my cell phone service was for shit back then, and I was living in the sticks at that point in time and everything. And he said, Dana, pick up your phone, because he was chatting with me too online. And he's like, I'm calling you, kiss, kiss. I'm calling you. Up the phone. I was like, I can't. I'm not getting any reception.
Come on.
But I could tell tons of stories about Steve's drinking days, and I'm sure you guys could too.
Lord, I miss him. I miss drunk Steve.
Drunk Steve needs to make a comeback.
Remember when we were all hanging out in the hotel room? This was the fright night that the hotel had like bugs in some of the rooms. There were stains on the wall and stuff like that. And it was so bad that Uncle Bill refused to stay in that hotel. I think he was staying across the street. At another,
it was a fright night show for sure, but I don't remember which one.
But we were all hanging out, I think, in CK's room, and that was the night of the Crystal Skull vodka, and Joe getting really drunk and coming over beside me and singing my theme song to my videos at that time, which was an AC/DC song.
I'll be right back, boys. I want to get me something to drink real quick. Okay. I'm getting parched here.
Oh, yeah, you can't get parched. But I remember Steve drinking. Rob got the Crystal Skull vodka. I'll see how good your memory is, Uncle Bill. Rob had gotten the Crystal Skull vodka at the liquor barn, because we'd all went to the liquor barn. Everybody was getting different kinds of liquor, of course. And that was the first time I ever drank Mad Dog 2020, because Lori was there, and that was she got Mad Dog 2020. That stuff's not too good. And it was also the first time I ever drank a Jaeger bomb, and it tasted like
that's what we existed on, yeah.
And I vowed never to let CK make me a drink ever again, ever since he made me the thing he called a fuck driver. I ain't letting him make me. Did you hear me tell that story, Uncle Bill, about the fuck drivers?
No, I do remember him just making up like different drinks and shit, and he would do like the shit tooth grin.
I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell he put in this thing. What combination of liquor
it's untelling
he put in there, but I drank that, and when Steve and I were walking back to the hotel room, it was like the damn carpet was moving under my feet. I have never had that sensation.
That's one thing he loved to do, though, because he never could really get drunk. I don't think, not like, pass out drunk. So he'd make like the strongest goddamn drinks you can imagine, and like try to give them to people. And by the time,
well, I fell for it, and I won't fall for it ever again.
People were passed out in them hotel rooms like Jonestown or something.
God. But I do remember Steve getting up in front. No, that wasn't that time. That was another time. I think that was when we were at the Galt House for Fright Night. And we were all.
I like the Galt House. I don't know why.
The Galt House wasn't too bad. But I remember we got that Crystal Skull vodka. Steve went up in front of everybody in the hotel room and took a sip of it, and he says, this water tastes like fucking vodka. And the whole room broke up. And that was also the night that Crater got so drunk that he forgot where his hotel room was. And like, I remember him, like, he said,
I'm outside, buddy.
I'll see you later. And about 5 minutes later, he comes back, stands up in front of everybody with his head down. Somebody said, what's wrong, Crater? He said, I forgot where my hotel room was. And everybody busted out laughing again about that. I think that was also the night that CK ate all meat pizza from Wix and spent most of the night in the bathroom, I think.
That's too much meat, boys. You got that's the thing about pizza now. I don't know if you guys want to talk about your favorite type of pizza, but I don't do the all meat pizza anymore at all. I have to have some variety in there. You got to put some mushrooms and some onions and some peppers and stuff like that on it. What about you all?
What about black olives?
Fuck no. Oh God.
I can't stand black olives. It tastes like
olives.
eating a fucking eraser or something. Like I hate the
Any kind of olives. No olives.
I love green olives, black olives.
No.
If you want to eat something tastes like if you want to eat something tastes like what I imagine a marker tastes like, get you some black olives.
A marker. Damn. It don't taste that bad, God.
Let me tell you something about a fucking pizza, boys. And this was in Memphis when we I was still recovering from that big shit hemorrhage that I had and puking and everything else.
That shit hemorrhage. Yeah.
Fucking I didn't know anything about any restaurants in Memphis, really. I looked up a steakhouse, supposed to be amazing, 5-star steakhouse. I ain't paying $80 fucking for a steak. So I said, no, hell no. So we go to this pizza place. It's supposed to be the best pizza in town. That's what it said. Whoever said that can shit and fall back in it, because that was some of the worst fucking pizza that I've ever had in my life. Have you ever seen a pizza? We got what we normally get on it. I get sausage on a pizza sometimes, right? But I have never, ever in the history of my pizza eating days, which has been a long time. I've been eating pizza for decades, folks. It was a whole layer of solid sausage, like a half an inch.
Oh, that's too much.
Under everything, and under all the toppings and everything, and the cheese and everything. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like breakfast sausage or something that they.
Oh.
I'm like, God damn, I'm gonna be sicker than a dog if I eat this. So I tried taking
I mean, was it like?
Yeah, it was cooked, but I mean, it was too much sausage.
So it was like summer sausage that they had cut up and put in there, like the kind you get on a roll.
I think what they did is, like, you know how you can get sausage in like a roll or whatever and make it however you want. So they patted out a pizza size shape sausage. It's probably about like that thick. And the pizza weighed a ton, and it was a $50 pizza. And I was like, why in the hell is this pizza $50? And I picked it up and I was thinking, oh, maybe this is like deep dish pizza, or maybe it's real thick crust or something. This thing's heavy. Has anybody in the chat heard of sausage done that way on a pizza? I've never, ever tried that before. Never even heard of it being done, but damn, man, I'm going to ask every pizza place that I go to from now on, if I don't know what it is, about their sausage, because that pissed me off, man. $50 for that.
Where was that at again?
It was in the wrong side of Memphis, which is, there's not a right side, actually. Memphis was fun. The Graceland thing was fun, and I would actually recommend everybody go, because it's really cool.
I wish I could get Steve to go, but sadly, I'll probably never get him to go.
No.
Yeah, definitely you'll never get Steve to go. But there's nothing really else in Memphis. I mean, it's kind of the ghetto. It's Aaron, you'll know what this is. It's like a bigger scale version of Ashland is what Memphis looks like.
Oh wow, that's fucked up then.
Now they do have it used to be called I think it's still called the Memphis Pyramid. Have you all ever seen it in downtown Memphis? It's a big, like, I think it was modeled after one of the pyramids in Egypt, but it's a gigantic, like, it's a complex kind of, it's the biggest Bass Pro Shop, I think, in the United States. And they have like restaurants in there. Wahlburgers is in there and everything. They have animals in there, like a zoo. So there's like crocodiles and, fish and everything. It's pretty cool.
I would definitely like to go, but I don't see that happening anytime soon, unless Steve turns over
a trip, man. Like, even for you all, it would probably still be about 6 hours for you all to go, I bet.
Thunder's hit down here. It's a plunder storm.
Yeah, it's plundering here too.
You know, speaking of storms, did anybody see those tornadoes in Chicago? There was some video of it.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
There'll probably be a tornado down here tonight.
Have you heard about the murder in Martin, Dana?
Oh, God.
Have y'all talked about that at all?
Well, Uncle Bill was telling me about it one night when he was on the stream with me. That was gruesome.
Listen up, Dana.
Shit's about to really go down.
There more to the story?
Oh, yeah.
So guess who did a podcast on the story today, and it's starting to blow up?
Who did a podcast today?
Who's the most famous, like, crime reporter you can think of?
Crime reporter.
That's kind of a bitch, too. When she gets agitated, you're fucked.
Oh, not Nancy Grace, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah, Nancy Grace talking about the fucking brick house restaurant and shit.
Some of that shit like she was saying, I was like marking out. Yeah.
So I think that everybody's probably going to know about that here sooner, and I'm glad too because
she meant Les Stapleton by name. She was like, that piece of shit, man, Les Stapleton didn't do nothing. Something like that.
The Prestonsburg mayor. Yeah, it's hilarious.
I don't think
I bet that guy is so mad at
anybody.
Seriously though, like it really bothered me because of how like heinous the murder was.
Yeah.
Right. This was a girl that was mentally, I mean, she was, I don't know what the word would be. She's slow. She's, she's not, fully functional person anyway. She's little, she was 4'11", and like they stabbed her in her head 11 times.
They said some stuff on that podcast that I'd never heard before too. Like they gave details about it. I don't know where they got these details because I hadn't even heard about anything like this. But like they broke the knife blade off in her skull apparently, and like and they stabbed her like through the neck and like severed her spinal cord out the other side. Like
so, this was a party that was at her boss's house, who owns the Brick House restaurant where she worked. And they think that somebody held her down as well while this was going on.
More than one person were involved. Yeah.
Now, I was telling Uncle Bill this story when he was telling me about the murder in Martin, but this happened a while back. There was a girl from my hometown. I didn't really know her. She was from the southern part of the county, but she went to school at Western in Bowling Green. That's where she chose to go to college at. And she, I guess, went to some college party. And these two boys followed her from the party back to her dorm. And I think there was some alcohol involved, so she didn't have all her faculties, I guess. And they not only raped her, but set her on fire in her dorm room when they were finished doing that. So that was horrific to me. Was hearing about that. So I don't even like to think about the stuff that people are capable of.
It's scary. Matt, it's getting worse too. It seems like everywhere.
Matt, you got the questions that you're asking are like the reason why Nancy Grace is involved with this fucking case, to be honest, because it doesn't make any sense. Like,
and nothing's been done really that we know about.
There was at least, I would think, probably between five or six people in that house when this happened. They know
there's
that
only
there was
three that they know by name.
Yes.
Or that they're releasing, maybe they do know the other two.
I was getting ready to say they know for a fact that there was 3 to 4 people in there, and then I'm betting that there was other people in there too.
I was told too. Now, I was told by somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody, and this nobody has said this officially or anything, but evidently when all this was starting, they said that girl went live on Facebook.
I'd heard that too. Yeah.
and that it was up very briefly, that only maybe a couple of people saw it, but that Facebook, of course, they keep all that stuff somewhere, So they've got that, and there was security cameras. This was a dentist's house, so of course there's security cameras everywhere. But by that next morning, man, what happened to the footage? It was all gone. So I hope they
the thing about
bust.
that shit is, though, the FBI they'll get all that stuff. I mean, they'll retrieve all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because nothing like that is ever gone.
Especially if it's on like a cloud or something like that.
So the thing about this that bothers people around here so much, and it bothers me too, is there's a pretty good lot of indications that nothing was really done about this because of who that person was. And like a lot of stuff was ignored because of who that person was, and a lot of stuff was covered up. But put it to you this way: if they found a woman stabbed 11 times with a knife stuck in her head at your house, laying in your fucking floor, do you think that the police would let you like go off to Florida or just go somewhere?
Las Vegas.
Your ass would be in jail while they were investigating like what was going on. But none of that stuff happened.
A month ago, Dana. This happened a month ago, and nobody's been arrested. They haven't really said much at all about like even who was there. They haven't released hardly any names. So, I mean, I'm just glad that Nancy Grace is getting that out. So something will have to be done about this shit.
It's ridiculous.
I don't care much for Nancy Grace, but yeah, I agree with you there. That it needs to get out.
I mean, I used to think Nancy Grace was hot back in the day, by the way. I like an authoritative woman.
I just think that like I never really liked Nancy Grace until right now, because like this is actually one time when like her being the bitch that she is comes in handy, because these people around here have got to be shitting their pants at this point, because that's like a national kind of thing. And there was something that said that like when that podcast aired, like there's a Facebook group open for the investigation of this and everything, that I don't remember who started it, but like over like 500 people tried to join that group at one time.
Oh my god!
I mean, it's getting a huge amount of like coverage and stuff now. So I'm glad too, because shit like this, not murders per se, but like shit like just corruption in this government around here and local like kind of politicians and shit's been going on forever.
Oh yeah.
And it's nice just to see some of them actually going to fucking probably lose their jobs and get butt humped.
Well, I got a feeling that there's going to be a few people that's going to be in jail for the rest of their life. Definitely more than one.
I really do hope so.
Yeah, that's what made me mad about the story I was telling, is that basically both of those boys got off. I don't think either one of them is in prison. And it's scary too. As I'm sure this is scary for you guys.
Imagine how many times shit like this happens in like small towns, stuff that doesn't get like coverage like this, though. I mean, I'm sure this kind of stuff happens every day.
That's the thing. Like one of the guys on the podcast said, there's a murderer loose in Prestonsburg, and nothing's been done about it. There's somebody that brutally killed this girl who was pretty much defenseless, evidently, and evidently there were some assholes there just watching it happen, and they haven't really said anything.
That's the part that I can't figure out, right? So they're all at a party. You can't really murder somebody at a party at somebody's house without like, and you know there had to be like people screaming and like, you know what I mean? Like it had to be an awful way to go without a bunch of people knowing what was going on. And at this point, like Wes was saying, like they're thinking that because there was no defensive wounds, that she was probably held down by one or more people while this was going on. Either that or she was drugged or incapacitated. There's some reason why she didn't have any defensive wounds. It's just crazy, man. And yeah, to think that like there's no leads, there's no like they don't say anything about it. There's no suspects that have been named yet, even though everybody knows like who the fucking suspects are around here. Like nobody's been officially named. It's insane.
Yeah, but I feel a lot better about it now just because that came out. So we'll see. We'll continue reporting on it on the show.
It makes them look really, really fucking bad, which is a good thing in this case. Because
in fact, I'll try to put that podcast up on Patreon maybe tomorrow. So people can or at least link it or whatever, because it's very interesting to hear the whole story and stuff too for people that don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna have to get off here, and I'm being beckoned into the living room.
Yeah, Uncle Bill's gonna get in trouble.
I've got to go too. I got to work tomorrow.
I've got to work half a day tomorrow, and I'm still doing the job for the guy that divvies out the tickets.
How many we got on here live right now, Dana? How many's watching? So this is the weird thing. We've noticed this too. The later you go, the more people freaking come on here.
That's true.
You're right about that.
So
I've noticed.
You and TJ should start about 11 o'clock one night, and you could run till about 7 o'clock the next morning.
Yeah, and then I'd have to go to work.
You'd be all fired up talking about Friday the 13th. I
usually start work about 7:30. So, yeah, I've got to get off here too. But I want to thank both of you guys for being on here with me tonight. And CK, I'm sorry I didn't see your message.
You're not forgiven, Dana. Sorry. But we are all going to do the Jaws fan commentary tomorrow at later on tonight. To go live at 9:45, and then we'll try to do the commentary started at 10, because I got to work on Saturday, so I'm not going to be able to.
Oh, that sucks.
That's a 2-hour movie, so I don't want to, stick around for, and get like 2 hours of sleep. So, but yeah, it's always good getting on here and bullshit and just like talking to friends and stuff. So
TJ says, Dana, next room we doing 5 minutes per episode. I'm using the stopwatch.
It'd be killer if you could put like a stopwatch thing up on the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Time's out on that, TJ. Shut up.
Yeah, we gotta move it. We gotta move on to, and he's acting like I'm the one that's like tying it up.
Yeah, you are. Damn, we both know it.
But it's like the perfect storm with you and TJ. You both like to talk.
I do like to talk. I mean, and my voice has been coming and going, and I'm surprised it hadn't went out on me tonight.
Get you some I guess. Warm honey and water and mix that up.
I've been drinking whiskey.
It sounds like a country song. I've been drinking whiskey. Getting fucked up all night.
Drinking
whiskey. Now CK's getting the guitar out.
All goddamn night. I'm really fucked up. And I'm ready to fight.
There you go.
There we go. New country song.
I'm all fucked up on whiskey.
I should make that song. That's the perfect country song. I'm all fucked up on whiskey.
I'm all fucked up on whiskey.
That'd probably be the only country single or something that have to have an explicit lyrics later.
Oh no.
You know the tater salad song, Dana. You want me to sing it?
Don't you do it.
Gonna fuck some tater salad on Friday night. Gonna fuck it until my dick is dry. And we'll eat the tater salad. It's creamy as fuck when I fuck the tater salad. You're in luck if you're hungry tonight. Tater salad and good. There you go.
Got the tater salad song.
Yeah, eat the tater salad and come, boys.
You got to make. I'm all fucked up on whiskey now.
I'm all fucked up on whiskey. And I'm ready to fight. Yeah, I'll have to come up with that one.
Come later today, I'm going to be demonetized. I can see it now.
You need to tell them people to get their mind out of the gutter, because when I say eat my tater salad and come, that means I come coming to the party. Enjoy.
Right. My tater salad and come.
My tater salad is extra creamy. Come over and check it out.
Yeah.
Coco's wanting to know if they're tater salad shirts. They're probably coming soon, Coco.
Are there tater salad shirts? All right, I'm getting off.
We need to get tater salad shirts. Yeah, me too. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Dinah. You have a good one.
All right, bye, guys.
See you.
All right, guys and gals in the chat. Yeah, I'm going to have to get off here too, but this was a lot of fun. I got, 2 surprise guests on here with me, so I enjoyed that. Blissful says, CK, I flicked my bick for you. So, everybody, thanks again for coming by, asking a lot of cool questions. I want to thank CK and Uncle Bill, in case they see this later, even though they're off of here now. Thank you, Blissful. Blissful, you say awesome live, Dana. So, as I always say, I'm going to skedaddle on out of here for the night, or the morning rather. And I will see everyone on the flip side. Y'all have a good night, good morning, whatever it is. And I will see everybody next time, including, I hope a lot of you come to the fan commentary for Jaws that I'm going to be on with the Dead Pit Boys and Jay Real. So, good night, everybody. See you next time.